We believe that every life matters and that we are all connected. One community, one people. We believe in compassion to give dignity to those that society has let down. We strive to conquer fear, and we believe that the power to heal is a gift. This is who we are. This is what we believe. Holy Cross.
Hi, I'm Caroline Hobby, host of Nashville Insider, where we bring you the latest in country music news and happenings. Join us as we interview your favorite artists and go behind the scenes of country music's hottest events.
Watch Nashville Insider right here on Cayman 27.
I'm John Barry, and this is Songs and Stories. I believe in every song there's a story waiting to be told, and in every story there's a song waiting to be sung. Each week I'll have a friend stop by who will share great songs and personal stories in a unique setting that have been part of their life and career. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
If it matters to you, it matters to us. We're Cayman 27, Cayman Informed.
This is the only morning show that matters. Cayman Crosstalk. Cayman Crosstalk.
The children belong to Grand Cayman. Come back home to your island. For I long to see you walk on my sand. For my shores, they belong to my children, and my children belong to Grand Cayman. And although a distant sea has come between us, and I've been to many ports in many lands, I can see West Bay beaches with its shiny coral sand, and my heart it longs for you, oh Grand Cayman. Come back home to your island, for I long to see you walk upon my sand. For my shores, they belong to my children, and my children belong to Grand Cayman. Come back home to your island, for I long to see you walk upon my sand. For my shores, they belong to my children, and my children belong to Grand Cayman. For my shores, they belong to my children, and my children belong to Grand Cayman.
The opinions expressed by Cayman Crosstalk, its hosts, callers, or guests are not those of Hurley's Media or its sponsors.
Here are your latest news headlines from the Cayman 27 News Team on Rooster 101's Cayman Crosstalk. Now, here's the news.
Good day, it's time for Monday's headlines from the Cayman 27 newsroom. I'm Reshma Raghunath. Police are today looking for the driver of a dark sedan whom they say struck a policeman in a hit and run over the weekend. The incident happened on Saturday night during a traffic stop on the Esteli Tibbetts Highway in the vicinity of Yacht Drive. According to the RCIPS, at around 11:30 p.m. on Saturday, officers were conducting a traffic check when the sedan approached the roadblock. The police officer approached the vehicle and attempted to speak with the driver and the passenger. After getting no response, he walked in front of the parked sedan to get the license plate number. The driver then struck the officer before speeding off. And registration begins this morning for the Christmas cohort of the National Community Enhancement Program, or NICE. Registration for the 15-day project starts at 9 a.m. at the Lions Center. Participants will be working under the Public Works Department, the National Roads Authority, and the Department of Environmental Health. The project is open only to unemployed Caymanians and spouses of Caymanians who are 18 years old and over. That's it from the Cayman 27 newsroom for now. Do remember to tune in at 6 p.m. for our full newscast for these and other stories. I'm Reshma Raghunath. Do have a great Monday and a productive week.
Be a part of the conversation on Cayman Crosstalk by calling the Superior Auto Hotline. 233-1019 or message us on the Cayman Crosstalk Facebook page. Now, back to Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
Good morning, my lovely, beautiful Cayman Islands. Happy Monday morning to all of you. Hope that you had a wonderful weekend and that the week is looking brilliant for all of you. I just want to sincerely thank all of you for tuning in and for letting us be part of your morning and part of your day and part of your whole entire news feed ensemble. Thank you very much. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. And today we have a wonderful show for all of you. We got a little bit of open mic. We also got some experts coming into the studios. We have an expert urologist that's going to be coming in along with Mr. Shamari Scott from Health City, Cayman Islands. This gentleman has over 25 years of experience and has performed more than 5,000 procedures. And like I said, he's a urologist, and we're really, really excited. We call him Dr. Parhu. And so I can't wait to have him in the studios to talk to all of you about it. And if you're just looking at me right now and you see my stash along with, as Jacqueline told me on Friday's call, down at the bottom here, a soul patch. Well, that soul patch and that mustache is my billboard, in essence, to remind all of you that this is Movember and that we're trying to raise the awareness of various different cancers, especially prostate cancer, which can be easily taken care of when early detected, and our wonderful men in this community can have a long-lasting, healthy life thereafter. So I am going to be wearing this for the month of November, and I just want to make sure that all of you take care of yourselves and whatever is available to you, that you make it necessary that the time to go and get yourself checked out if you don't have a GP. There's many, many around in the Cayman Islands, but my GP is Dr. Sidney Eubanks at CTMH Doctor Hospital. More than likely, he'll be happy to help you all. A very sympathetic, empathetic doctor and a good man all around. So it would be my recommendation to all you men if you're just looking for somebody to go and get checked out with. I urge all of you to do that. And I just got feedback over the weekend from one of our winners that won a matinee ticket yesterday to Moon on her rainbow shawl. Well, she wrote back last night, says she had an absolutely wonderful time. The show was spectacular. The actors were on point, and that she took a friend with her, and it was joyous to really have a friend to go and enjoy the beauty of live theater. And she recommends that particular production to anyone and everyone. So we were on to remind you all that it is nearing its final, I think it's this weekend, I believe, and you got to go and get it checked out. I believe they run from Friday until Sunday. I believe Sunday is the last day, and you can go and check that out on CNCF website or also Facebook page as well to get more details on that. But I would advise all of you to get your tickets soon so that you don't get left out in the cold and don't see this wonderful production. Got some young actors as well from the high schools, and I think you all should go and give some time to live theater. And so I just want to talk about that. And then also, you heard on the top of the hour the news by Reshma, and I'm appealing to all of you. Sincerely, I mean this. When you have an individual that has stopped, and one can say that is premeditated by stopping and then thinking, instead of reversing, you're just going to plow down a police officer. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm begging all of you out there, if you have any information on the incident that you heard in the news of a police officer on Saturday evening getting mowed down, basically hit by an automobile and had to be taken to the hospital. Thank goodness there's not non-life-threatening injuries. But if it was a little bit more squarely on the individual, it's not unreasonable to think that things could be a lot different. 1-ton automobile, 3,000 pounds, hitting even 180, 160 pound, 200 pound individual still is no real competition, so to speak. But the blatant act of that, I think, is a lot more than just dangerous, as what the police were saying. You can find out more details on our Facebook page, which is Cayman Crosstalk. You'll have the details there that occurred specifically. But I'm asking all of you, please call into the police station if you know anything, or if you know the individuals, or maybe have an idea of the car, or if you were in the area at that particular time of the traffic stop on or about 11:30 on Saturday evening, in the vicinity of the Yacht Club Drive going into West Bay, right after the bridge. If you know anything whatsoever, please give the Georgetown Police a jingle. The number in the studio, the number there is 949-4222. In addition to that, ladies and gentlemen, you can also go on their email, or their website, which is rcips.ky. You can lodge it there as well. Or if you don't want to deal directly with the Cayman Islands Police Service, just because it's kind of unfortunate, you can also call Crime Stoppers at 800-TIPS. 800-TIPS. And that's completely confidential. And remember, if you want to call that is 800-8477. That is 800-8477. That will be 800-TIPS, and that goes directly to the United States of America. If an arrest is made, you may have a cash reward at the end of the day for you. But this kind of stuff, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot allow this to happen. We cannot sit idly by and just let a small collective destroy this beautiful island. I'm appealing to all of you and to all your senses. If you know of anything or heard anyone whisper something, please don't sit back. Say something and do something. We've seen this world. If no one says anything and no one does anything, then all anarchy and all havoc break loose. Just please, let's all do our part. To have someone being hit by an automobile, especially a police officer doing his duty, is something that we should be concerned with and should not ever be tolerated in one sense or another. It cannot be allowed to become desensitized to these things. So I'm appealing once again, please, I beg you. Georgetown Police Station number is 949-4222, or you can also call their confidential hotline, which is 949-7777. That is 949-7777. Or if you just don't want to speak to the local police service, simply call 800-TIPS. That is 800-8477. That is 800-8477. I thank you all very much for your attention. And I'm going to go straight to the phone lines now, and I'm going to give some of those details all out to all of you, because we're going to may have an open microphone right after our wonderful discussion with Medical Mondays with Health City Cayman Islands. We're going to have a wonderful urologist into the studios, and he has 20 plus years of experience and 5,000 procedures. So we're going to be having a great discussion. Remember, this is all for you, and you can contact us via various different mediums. The phone number in the studio is 233-1019. That is 233-1019. That is sponsored by our wonderful friends at Superior Auto. Remember, Superior Auto keeps your car in tune. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they can do everything. Automobiles, boats, don't care what it is. If you need welding done, if you need anything done, seriously, it is a one-stop shop, machine shop, garage, everything. And the best part about it is they're training our youngsters to become auto technicians, become welders, become good tradespeople within the Cayman Islands, something that we all need. And I just want to sincerely thank our wonderful friends and partners at Superior Auto and great community leaders as well. And we also got a WhatsApp number, which is 324-1019. That is 324-1019. That's our WhatsApp number. In addition, we also have our Facebook page, which is Cayman Crosstalk. That is correct, Cayman Crosstalk. If you're watching us from our wonderful sister station, Cayman 27, and you post something there, I would not be able to answer you or interact with you or even just say thank you or acknowledge that you're there. Just go up to the Facebook search bar for friends and type in Cayman Crosstalk. Come on down. I'll be happy to have you. And I'll tell you the truth, I'll be appreciating your likes and your shares, which I've been doing really, really lately. So thank you all very much for being so kind to Cayman Crosstalk. For those of you that is not on Facebook, but like to send emails and so forth, well, you can. And you can send an email at Cayman Crosstalk at hurleysmedia.ky, Cayman Crosstalk at hurleysmedia.ky. And so those are some of the contact mediums that we do have here. And so I just want to let you all know those details. And we're going to go straight to the phone lines right now. Good morning, caller. How are you?
Good morning, Cayman Islands. It's Ekpato.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. How are you?
I'm listening to you on the phone, not on the radio or the TV.
Really? Not on the radio either?
No, sir.
Jesus. All right. Let me pull up my email. All right. How long has that been gone?
From last night.
Okay.
I was listening sometime last night and she kicked out.
Okay.
And it's still off. And the TV is still off. At least it's showing the, I think it's the district commissioner's picture on there. I believe that's him.
Okay. All right. Well,
I don't want any excuses now. You tell them that we don't want no more excuse why the TV can't be fixed for Cayman Brack or the radio. I tell Randy Merritt, I said that.
Well, that's the thing. You know, it is all out of Mr. Marin's hands. I would urge all of you to contact ICTA or off-reg and ask for the ICTA department of it, Mr. Ali Famo. He's in charge of that. We here is that the, how would you say, we are the unfortunate circumstances of somebody else's service. And let's just say it's just how the things go in this Cayman Islands. And so I'd urge all of you, if you have a complaint about those kind of things, call the ICTA. But when it comes to our part, i.e. the broadcasting, we take care of that ourselves because we do have someone in the BRAC that should be monitoring the computer feed to make sure that you're there all the time. So I'm
well, please tell that one in the BRAC who is monitoring to keep the eyes open.
Doing that.
And the ears, sir.
Yeah. All right. Well, otherwise than that, how is the BRAC doing?
How is the BRAC feeling?
Yes.
The BRAC feeling just as fine as the fitter. Sunshine and everything.
Good. No more complaints with the BRAC then, huh?
No more complaints because we can't get Rooster.
I hear you. Well, I'm going to work on that, and immediately as soon as I get off through this break, I'm going to send an email to everyone else. But, you know, you called in this morning, and I can't help but have you help me with my advertisement this morning for my wonderful sponsor for the first hour, Subway. All right, ready, caller?
Go ahead. You always want to use me, but you don't want to get nothing done of you. Go ahead.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, if you got to start your morning off with a cup of coffee, well, don't worry about it. Subway, you can get it all done. You can get a cup of coffee and a wonderful sandwich like the breakfast BMT. But here's the deal. If you go to Subway and only just all you want is a cup of coffee, that is cool as well. They will give you a free cookie with a cup of coffee that has been purchased there. And you can pick any one that you want. I like the macadamia nut. But that's like me, I'm a nut just like the macadamia nut. But I tell you the truth, ladies and gentlemen, it's a wonderful deal, and I like to bring all of you some wonderful deals as well. So you can get that at all 6 locations of Subway on Grand Cayman. But remember, this may be a limited time offer. So you got to hurry and try to get that wonderful deal. A cup of coffee and a free cookie at any of the 6 locations. And remember, if you want to get this at 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, whatever time it is, they have open 2 stores to serve you better that's open 24/7. One in West Bay at Centennial Towers, the other one in Central Georgetown at Anderson Square. Subway.
Eat fresh, eat delicious, and get a free cookie.
That's right. That's for you, Sabba J.
This hour of Cayman Crosstalk is powered by Subway. Subway. With 6 locations across Cayman, you know it makes sense to choose Subway. Subway. Eat fresh. Eat delicious. More of Cayman Crosstalk is next on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
Sometimes having a middleman is not a bad thing, especially when it comes to insurance. Do you know that when it comes to cost, ease, speed, and peace of mind, insurance brokers ranked higher than when customers buy direct? So, for all your insurance needs, call Fidelity Insurance. We're the middleman you want. Call us today at 949-7822. Fidelity. We're good for you.
Hey, have you heard about the singing Christmas tree?
No, let me imagine.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open.
It's more than that. Look.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it
The
is.
Singing Christmas Tree, November 24th and 25th, 2018, 6 p.m. at Lions Center. It is for free.
Oh, what fun.
Facebook page. Now, back to Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for tuning in, and happy Monday morning to all of you. Just want to sincerely thank all of you for tuning in. Just letting us be part of your morning and part of your day. And remember, the number in the studios, if you would like to talk with us, is 233-1019. That is 233-1019. And that is sponsored by our wonderful friends at Superior Auto. We got some callers on the line, and I just want to let you all know that in this short little break, I'm going to open some lines up to see if I can put $5,000 in your hand. All right. Good morning, caller. How are you this morning?
Oh, good.
Good morning.
Good.
All right. Who am I talking to?
Sammy J.
Sammy J. Oh, my goodness. Good. You heard my little shout out to you this morning. Sammy, how are you this morning?
I'm good.
Great. You're excited about school today?
Yes, sir.
All right, my friend. What is your favorite subject?
Writing.
Wonderful. So I can't wait to hear in the future Sammy J, the author of the Cayman Islands, right? Great.
Yes.
All right, I want you to do me a favor, Sammy J.
Yes, sir.
Even though we passed the time check, I want you to still help me, if you can, with saying Subway, eat fresh, eat delicious. I know you'll like that. Ready? Subway.
Eat fresh. Eat delicious.
Oh, good. Thank you very much, Sammy J. I got that jotted down. I'm going to use that, all right? Thank you very much, my buddy. Have a wonderful day to you. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen. That's one of our wonderful students that's on the way to school, and to all of the students that are on the way to school this morning. I just want to say a very good morning to all of you. I hope you have a great day going there with a positive mindset, and I can guarantee you everything else will be irie. Everything will be cool. Don't sweat the big, the small stuff. Everything else will fall in its place. Just do your work. Don't fall behind. If you fall behind, that's going to stress you out a little bit. Just get it done. When it's given to you, just get it done. Just get her done. Ladies and gentlemen, remember this number, 233-1019, 233-1019. That is the number that I'm going to open up. So I can try to put $5,000 in your hand before I end this segment and go on to our Medical Mondays. Would you like to have $5,000 in your hand the 1st of December, 2018? Well, I'm going to give a possibility of that give to all of you. In addition, if you can't win the $5,000 that's initially up, there's a second prize of $3,000, and third prize is $1,000. And then there's going to be some consolation prizes, 5 of them to be matter of fact, at $100 each. And so the odds of winning is actually pretty high, simply for the mere fact that it's not like the lotteries and the raffles. I guess you wouldn't let me just put it raffles. We can't use lottery here, which is that's another topic. But it's like any other raffle. It's not 1 in 288 million odds of winning. It's 1 in 7,000. And so that means that you have a fantastic chance of possibly being a winner. And here are some of the details that I want you to remember when you got to answer this. When you win, the question is who made you a winner? That is Cayman Crosstalk on Hurley's Media or on Rooster 101.9 FM. Cayman Crosstalk made you a winner. In addition, just want to simply say that once you do that, then you got to crow. That's the caveat. So those are the things those are the ground rules, ladies and gentlemen, that you have to fall into. Okay? When you win a possibility of getting $5,000 in your hand. Now, I just want to say to all of you, here's the deal. I'm going to give you $5,000 to the Cayman Islands Seafarers annual Christmas gala, or gala. Pronunciations vary, as my English teacher, Mr. Eastman, would tell me. Remember, the Cayman Islands Seafarers Association is having their annual Christmas gala on the 1st of December, 2018. 1st of December. All proceeds will go towards their missions, which is to make sure that their lives, their members' lives, and their spouses' lives are augmented by some care and some compassion by helping them meet some of their expenditures. In addition, they are doing a wonderful thing by sponsoring some doctors for specialties. So I just want to say those are some of the things that are wonderful seafarers are doing. Now, I'm going to open the phone lines up, 233-1019, and their building is located on Victory Avenue, number 11 Victory Avenue in Prospect. Those are some of the easy things that I'm going to give you. If you want $5,000 in your hand, you got to give me a jingle. And I'm going to ask my Martino, I know you got your stuff up there. I want Martino to come into the studios. Martino, I know you're listening to me in Master Control. Martino is one of my wonderful crew in the mornings that I greatly appreciate. Martino Conley, been with a TV station, I believe, over 25 years. Wonderful guy, great person. Appreciate him a great deal. Funny like crazy. And I just like to see him in the morning because he makes me happy. Martino, I want you to come in the studios and I want you to pick a number for me. I got 4 lines in the studios, 1 straight through to 4. And ladies and gentlemen, I cannot tell what numbers they are and whom is calling me. So it's like Forrest Gump. It's like a box of chocolates. I never know what I'm going to get. So remember that. 233-1019. 233-1019. The lines are open now. 233-1019. I want all 4 lines lit up and would love to give away a ticket that will allow you the possibility of having and winning $5,000 of hard cold cash in your hand. 233-1019. That is 233-1019. And the number in the studios, like I said, I would love to have them lit up right now so that if you would like the possibility of winning $5,000, give me a jingle. And the only caveat is if you've played and won this already, we're kind of begging you to be nice and compassionate to another wonderful listener and just don't call in. Give someone else the opportunity of possibly having $5,000 this Christmas. Martina, where are you? Leroy, tell Martina to come here. Anyhow, Leroy, send me a number since Martino's not down coming in. Oh, he said line number 1. Oh, come on, Martino. Good morning, caller. How are you this morning?
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Happy Monday morning to you.
Thank you. You too.
I got to ask you, my friend, are you calling in to see whether or not you can win the possibility of getting $5,000 in your hand?
Well, that's exactly what I'm doing.
All right. Well, no, you stayed fast in knowing what you're doing. I'm glad to hear that one. All right. You're not confused in any way whatsoever. I had to get that caveat out of the way. All right, caller. Here are a couple of the questions that I'm going to ask you, right? One,
okay.
Whom is putting on this little raffle? Which association is putting on this little raffle that you can possibly win $5,000? If not, $3,000 is the second prize, and $1,000 is third prize. And then, believe it or not, they got a consolation prizes, 5 more of $100 each.
That would be the Cayman Islands Seafarers Association.
All right. Ding, 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 ding. You got it, buddy. You're on a roll this morning. You woke up early. I can hear it. Now you need to go to
Man,
Subway.
it's an early morning.
You need to go Subway now, get your coffee, and your free cookie. All right.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Here's the next question. Where is the Seafarers Hall located?
It's located in Red Bay.
Close.
Prospect.
There you go. Because you know they're like a hair away from each other. And I tell you,
exactly. That's right on the border, right?
That's right. And you know they would tell you electorally, no worries, Prospect.
Yeah.
All right. You know the number of the building?
The number, no.
All right. Give me a landmark. Because you know us Caymanians, you can give us numbers, but if you just say, well, a Guinea tree or that building there, that house there, we know where it is. What's the landmark that you can tell somebody, here's a landmark, and it's right across the street or down the road or something else? What's a landmark that you would use?
It's by the Cayman Islands Brewery, by the station.
There you go, by the station. No, I know.
Just in case you didn't know where one was.
You got it, bud. Honestly, you deserve this ticket. You deserve this ticket. And they're going to have this gala on the 1st of what month?
Hello?
Yes, sir. What day would they be having this drawing?
The December 1st at the gala.
You got it, man. You got it. And this also, during that drawing as well, is their Christmas dinner. And we hope to have you there because that ticket will allow you in there as well. They're going to have wonderful artists like J.R. Douglas and some wonderful food as well. But caller, who made you a winner this morning?
Rooster 101, Cayman Crosstalk.
Oh, you got it. And then you know the caveat. You cannot completely win until you do me a rooster crow.
Boy.
Do it one more time. Just one more time.
No.
You cleared your throat.
One is enough for Monday.
You cleared your throat. You need to do it again.
No, I think that was good enough.
All right. I need you to hold on. I'm going to get you details. And you can come right down to our wonderful studios down here at Camana Bay on 18 Forum Drive anytime between 8:30 and 2:30 weekdays. All right? Congratulations.
All right.
So glad to have some winners and people participating. Thank you all very much. I hope that one of our lucky callers and our lucky winners of our tickets will be the winner of any of those prizes. Christmas is right around the corner. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to go and take a little break right now, and then we're going to transition to Medical Mondays, but we got some wonderful guests coming into the studios. We got Mr. Shamari Scott. In addition, we got a new doctor he's a urologist. Over 20 years experience in 5,000 procedures. We're going to learn something today right after this short message from our great sponsors.
This hour of Cayman Crosstalk is powered by Subway. Subway. With 6 locations across Cayman, you know it makes sense to choose Subway. Subway. Eat fresh. Eat delicious. More of Cayman Crosstalk is next on Rooster 101. and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
Heat resistant, scratch resistant, stain resistant, functional and durable. Paramount Carpets brings you the beauty of granite like no one else. Choose from a large selection of quality granite from Italy and Brazil. Paramount Carpets guarantees on-time delivery and professional installation. Granite, from the earth to your home.
We do a whole lot more than just cover your floor at Paramount Carpets.
Sometimes having a middleman is not a bad thing, especially when it comes to insurance. Do you know that when it comes to cost, ease, speed, and peace of mind, insurance brokers ranked higher than when customers buy direct? So, for all your insurance needs, call Fidelity Insurance. We're the middleman you want. Call us today at 949-7822. Fidelity. We're good for you.
Hey guys, Black Friday's around the corner, and you should shop at Office Supply, especially if you like the VIP cinema. Take a look at this Vizio.
Dolby surround sound, 65-inch, $11.50.
Josh has got all the answers. Take a look at that price. Incredible. Now, got a gamer. Some kid who likes to play Fortnite. They need a new gamer's laptop. Josh, the Acer.
Nitro, $965.
Big mark down there. Creative. Somebody who likes music. Got to have a MacBook.
$999.
Take a look at the selection of laptops. Tons to choose from. Priced as low as
$185.
Plus, they're doing the service in-house. Josh, you got great hours. Tell them where they need to shop.
Office Supply.
Right here in Marquee Plaza.
Dive into the creative world, fashion, music, festivals, and cuisine. So get your passports ready and let's travel. All coming up on this channel.
Police are today looking for the driver of a dark sedan whom they say struck a policeman in a hit and run over the weekend. The incident happened on Saturday night during a traffic stop on the Esteli Tibbetts Highway in the vicinity of Yacht Drive. According to the RCIPS, at around 11:30 p.m. on Saturday, officers were conducting a traffic check when the sedan approached the roadblock. The police officer approached the vehicle and attempted to speak with the driver and the passenger. After getting no response, he walked in front of the parked sedan to get the license plate number. The driver then struck the officer before speeding off. And registration begins this morning for the Christmas cohort of the National Community Enhancement Program, or NICE. Registration for the 15-day project starts at 9 a.m. at the Lions Center. Participants will be working under the Public Works Department, the National Roads Authority, and the Department of Environmental Health. The project is open only to unemployed Caymanians and spouses of Caymanians who are 18 years old and over. That's it from the Cayman 27 newsroom for now. Do remember to tune in at 6 p.m. for our full newscast for these and other stories. I'm Reshma Raghunath. Do have a great Monday and a productive week.
Be a part of the conversation on Cayman Crosstalk by calling the Superior Auto Hotline, 233-1019, or message us on the Cayman Crosstalk Facebook page. Now, back to Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for tuning in, letting us be part of your morning and part today. I am excited this morning, always, because I love to see the smiling face of Miss Kafara Augustin. She is a global sales manager. I like just giving her that title for Hill City, Cayman Islands. And you brought a new doctor into the studios as well.
I did. And good morning, Woody, and good morning to your audience. Shamari was actually supposed to be here today, but he's a bit under the weather, so he sent me instead, and I love coming out here anyway. So.
All the doctors around, are you sick, Shamari?
But I am very happy to bring with me Dr. Prabhu Ling, or Dr. Prabhu as we like to call him. He has been here now on island for 6 months, and he is our urologist.
Wonderful. Welcome to the studios, Dr. Prabhu.
Thank you.
And, you know, I want you, if you don't mind, we always got to think that some people may not know the specialties and so forth. And I was looking at your experience, your CV, and I was saying as a build-up, 25 years of experience, 5,000 procedures, plus, that certainly should tell that not only do you have tactile and experience, hands-on experience, but you also have knowledge of just life in general. So that means whomever is in your hands, realistically, is in very good hands with you. But I want you to talk to us about your discipline. For those out there that may not know what the specialty is of a urologist, because that is something I want people to start, once we start breaking down maybe some of the ignorance that may be out there or what they are specifically, then people will understand a little bit more and internalize it. Because the sad part about it is, doctor, and I submit this to you, I'm not sure whether or not it's the same in India or everywhere, but I believe it's a male thing. We wait too long until something happens. I don't know what it is in the psyche of a male, but we'll just go right on to the nth time, and then we realize that, boom, a brick wall hits us. And I would imagine over 25 years in India, you probably experienced the same thing. And so with prostate cancer, as you probably see, right now I'm wearing my stash, so to speak, and with my soul patch. I was told, Kafar, I just learned this is called a soul patch. I didn't even know what the heck it was, but nevertheless, I just figured it was some facial hair. This is my quiggly down under look, but it's my walking billboard to remind gentlemen that prostate cancer, this is Movember, and we're trying to make sure that we educate as much males as possible. And, for example, their significant others, because it's usually women that are more proactive than men. That's why they live longer, not because they nag us to death, because, that's one aspect of it, but because they care more for themselves and their loved ones. I really do believe that, and we need to make sure that we can save some males. Is it the same in India that males wait?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, it's a universal phenomena, I think.
Why do you think? I mean, you must have been a doctor for a long while. Why is males this hard-headed?
In this disease, especially in this carcinoma of the prostate, the disease is very slow growing. It doesn't bother the patient. So that is the reason why the males don't want to go to the doctor early for the detection.
So you think that most males don't know that they have an issue?
Yes. This is the main cause.
Really?
They don't know they have the disease. Okay? And unfortunately, this disease manifests in the late stages. The early stages, it never give any clue of its presence.
Well, before we get into that, what is a urologist?
Okay. Urology is a branch of surgery where we deal with kidney, prostate, and external genitalia and their problems.
Okay.
And basically, it's a excretory system. The whole thing's excretory system. We deal with the problems of the urine.
Right. Yes. And so that means that we must make sure that you drink water. So we don't see Dr. Prabhu.
Yeah. Yes.
Having said that, doctor, I got to ask you, what if this is one of those slow-growing issues? There has to be some sort of manifestation in the early stages that may, because I submit to you that there has to be elevated stages or obviously progressive stages. But in order for us to know, sometimes we ignore a lot of things that's happening. I really believe our body talks to us, and we tend to ignore it a lot. It's kind of like, for example, your check engine light comes on or something, and your automobile says, change your oil now. You know you need to change the oil, but it can go a couple of more thousand miles before I go and change the oil. And then all of a sudden, you go and change the oil, and then something is wrong. The mechanic goes, gee, you know what? You don't have oil no more. You got sludge. I need to clean it out. It's going to cost, instead of $35, it's going to cost you $3,500 to clean it out. And that's just what is happening. It may sound trivial, but it's almost the same thing. So I submit to you, doctor, are there any telltale signs that an individual can say, you know what, there is something wrong with my prostate?
Yes. The CA, we so-called the carcinoma of the prostate, starts manifesting around 40-45 years to start with. And its peak manifestation increases every year, and almost reaches to 80 to 90% by the age of 80 years. So that means the disease starts somewhere around 50 years and takes so much of time.
Almost 30 years to,
30 years,
really to mature, so to speak.
mature. Very, very, very few cases of this. You can say about 10% of the cases can grow to that extent. But then we have got the big chunk of the disease, okay, 80 to 90%, which can be very fast growing.
Right.
Very fast growing. They can manifest very silently as a very uncommon complaints like body ache, backache, okay, some of the shoulder pain or headaches. And rarely they can come with a dogmatic symptoms of retention of urine or burning of the urine, burning of the micturition, we call as delayed voiding. So these are the few symptoms which they can come, but by the time they come, it will be too late. But the silent features, it will be just like a bony pain, knee pain, especially backaches. Backaches.
Really?
Are the very silent. They are not very dogmatically say that it is a CA prostate.
Right.
They would have gone to a orthopedician. They would have gone to a general physician.
Yeah.
But then
Never
those people,
neurologist.
yes, neurologists for that matter, and they are the people who refer these cases to us.
Wow. Of all the times that I've actually spoken to doctors, I never heard that it would actually manifest itself initially in some aching of the bones, especially in your back and lower back and so forth of the nature. So sometimes for gentlemen that may think, well, all right, I strained my back. And I'm like you said, I'm going to a chiropractor or in orthopedist or something to do with bones. You may have probably an issue with your prostate.
Especially if he's above 45 years.
Wow.
45 years, about 50 years, 55, 60 years. Then you should be very, very suspicious about this CA prostate.
My goodness gracious. I tell you the truth,
you learned something new.
You freaked me out even more because I just thought it was my old fat belly that was hurting my back. but good doctor, when we're looking at the prostate, because this is something, I'll be honest with you, it's very dear to me because I lost someone that was very, very special to me because of prostate. And every day I lament, to be honest with you, that I didn't say something more or maybe didn't know more at that particular time. And sometimes I guess even with males, we don't really let each other know. And we don't even let our significant other know if there's an issue at any given time. So you're saying that any person between the ages or after 40, especially if maybe you would have a family member, i.e. an uncle, father, brother, somewhere down the line, grandfather, that may have suffered with prostate, to go and get checked and see how your PSA levels are. And what is the PSA level? What is that? What is the PSA and what does that blood test tell you?
PSA is nothing but it's a prostatic specific antigen. It is a sort of a protein which is secreted by the prostate cells per se, more so with the prostate cancer cells.
Right.
The normal value of PSA in the human blood is around 2 to 4 nanograms per deciliter. Nanograms per deciliter. Anything which is above 4 is suspicious. Up to 10. Between 4 to 10, we start suspecting, yes, he may be having. Anything about 10 nanograms per deciliter, yes, we strongly suspect he is a man. So that is the point where which we start investigating. Of late, we have come to know that this can manifest or this disease can grow even with 5 nanograms per deciliter with PSA. So that is why any person above 5, 6, with digital rectal examination, when you do examine him, you do suspect some nodules, some hardness in the prostate. Directly then we advise him go for specialized investigations like biopsy.
Well, Doc, I got to go and take a quick break right now, and I'm glad that you laid that foundation of what people can suspect. The number in the studios is 233-1019, 233-1019. If you would like to speak to the good doctor and, learn a little bit more about this and about your whole entire system and what we males can probably do to help prevent it, it's all within there as well. And sometimes we just being male, it's just one of those things that just creeps up on you. Literally creeps up on you until it hits you like a brick wall. And so we want to make sure that we can save a life. We can make sure that you'll all be happy. And if you catch it early, a good doctor, correct me if I'm wrong, if you catch it early, you can actually have a long, wonderful, healthy life. All right. We'll be right back after this short message. And I got to let you all know that time check right now is 7:49. Yes, right on the nose. Thank you very much. And here's a wonderful thing that I would like to bring to your attention, ladies and gentlemen. Subway's Can Drive is now in effect. And the days are chipping down and clicking down very, very quickly. It ends on the 2nd of December. And what Subway Can Drive is that if you bring any of your canned goods to your local Subway store, they will give you a free cookie of your choice. And that is basically their way of trying to give back to others that may be less fortunate at the moment. And so all canned goods will be donated to 2 charities. One, Feed Our Future, and the other will be Meals on Wheels. We're asking you to extend your Cayman kind this holiday season at Subway. And I just want to say personally, thank you very much in advance for your kind gesture and your generosity. It will certainly make lives of those that are less fortunate that much more better. Thank you. And thank you, Subway, for allowing this to happen as well. Be right back after this short little break.
This hour of Cayman Crosstalk is powered by Subway. Subway, with 6 locations across Cayman, you know it makes sense to choose Subway. Subway, eat fresh, eat delicious. More of Cayman Crosstalk is next on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
Eclipse Hair Design and Day Spa. Discover the difference.
From happy beginnings and life choices that we make along the way,
Brit K protects your lifestyle with the best insurance cover at the best possible price.
health insurance with far-reaching benefits,
Family protection and long-term financial plans.
business insurance, and generous employee benefits.
For happy beginnings to happy ever after, visit BritK.ky.
BritK, where people come first.
Hey, ooh, this have a flavor with a beat. Have a dance, make you move up your feet. Feel the rhythm in the music. Turn all into new into hits and classics. Every meal make you feel like it's a new remix. It's the most delicious in the West Indies. You know what I feel? It's Grace. Feel the vibe, can't you feel it? Grace. Delicious and nutritious. Yes. Quality when you taste it. Want affordable? Look for the label. Grace. Feel the vibe, can't you feel it? Grace. Delicious and nutritious. Yes. Quality when you taste it. Want affordable? Look for the label. Once you feel it, once you see it, once you taste it, it's real. Trust the flavor, the Caribbean Grace, it's real. Caribbean Grace, it's real.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here is your weather forecast for this morning. You're going to have a high of 85. They say the real fuel temperature is going to be about 93 degrees. And you have a 44% chance of experiencing some showers. But here's the deal. They're going to be scattered and they're going to be brief in passing. And so therefore, synopsis for the daylight hours is as follows. Partial sunshine with some showers in areas, but brief in passing. Winds are going to be coming at you from the east-northeast at 12 miles per hour with an occasional gust at about 17. That same wind direction is going to continue, but drop down to about 8 to 10 miles per hour tonight. That's going to make your surface temperatures be about 81 degrees. But they say the heat index may indicate that it's close to 90 tonight. So it's going to be a very hot night, warm night tonight. And you have a 25% chance of experiencing some showers. But once again, they're going to be brief and passing. And so therefore, synopsis for the nighttime hours is going to be partly cloudy. Should still be a beautiful night in the tropical paradise called the Cayman Islands. And sunrise this morning was at 6:36. Sunset will be at 5:46. That means you got 11 hours and 10 minutes of beautiful tropical sun to really enjoy. And you got a similar weather forecast pattern tomorrow and straight to Wednesday. It looks like this little frontal trough that we may have be dissipating probably late Wednesday. And so Thursday morning should look pretty good. But we'll keep updating as we go along. But I just want to sincerely thank all of you for tuning in and join me back with Dr. Prabhu from Health City, Cayman Islands. We're talking prostate cancer and a whole lot of other things.
Be a part of the conversation on Cayman Crosstalk by calling the Superior Auto Hotline, 233-1019, or message us on the Cayman Crosstalk Facebook page. Now, back to Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, happy Monday morning to all of you, and thank you all very much for tuning in. Letting us be part of your morning and part of your day. If you're just tuning in right now, I have with me Miss Gafar Augustin. She's the Global Sales Manager for Health City Cayman Islands in the studios, and also she's brought with her this morning one of their specialists, and he's a urologist, has over 25 years of experience and 5,000 procedures that he's performed, and he is Dr. Prabhu. And Doctor, we were touching on, your discipline, and what it's all about. And then we were talking about prostate cancer. And we want to kind of keep the focus on prostate cancer for this month. After all, it's November. And I normally haven't worn my mustache in probably about 10 years, but now I've donned it. And it's more or less a walking billboard every morning. And I try to do every morning to remind men to go and just get themselves checked out. It's just a matter of a little blood test and see whether or not what that is. And if you catch it early, we can have a great life, especially with new technologies that for example, your wonderful institution is bringing into play, like HIFU, which is much more centered. And I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world. No more real surgery. You can actually do things pinpointed with pulses of light and sound and so forth. I just think it's pretty cool. But doctor, when we're talking prostate cancer, males are, I think, let's just be very candid. At one particular point, most men thought, well, in order to test and check my prostate, you need to do a rectum.
Digital rectal examination.
Correct. And, most men are petrified of that. And it's not unreasonable to think that most men believe that, only something should be going out, not coming in. Right? That is, I'm just being straight up on this. I just want to break down some barriers and so forth to that nature. And that's one of the reasons why I believe that we have in the Caribbean, not only because they were saying that if you have Afro origins within your bloodstream, you have a more elevated possibility of developing prostate cancer. Yes. But I believe that we leave it to the very end, not because that we ignoring some of the symptoms, but maybe we find the symptoms but don't want to go and get checked out because we don't want a doctor probing us. And I want you to talk to us about that. First, it may not be nothing. We simply just get a blood test. And what would be the procedures after that? Let's use a hypothetical here, doctor. I want to walk men through these things so that the ignorance and maybe the misnomers that they may have in their minds could be set aside, because I want to save some lives. I really do. I lament on the passing of my friend every day, especially on a Friday night, to be honest with you. And I want you to talk us through, if you go and get the PSA testing, it shows elevated numbers in your androgens. What then? What then next?
Yes. the next procedure will be the diagnosis. That means pinpointing and confirming our diagnosis. This PSA or a digital rectal examination, it is not a confirmative test. To have a 100% sure that this person has got a cancer, there are some procedures he has to follow.
Okay.
That is the prostatic biopsy.
Okay.
Nowadays, that biopsy is usually done in a hospital basis nowadays with the help of ultrasound. We do it with a ultrasound guided rectal prostatic biopsy. That's called TRUS. We call it as a TRUS. Once that is done, so within 48 to 72 hours, we receive the final report through histopathology. When it says, yes, this is 100% a cancer, then the next procedure will be staging the cancer, whether it is an early stage or it is a cancer which has gone out of prostate. Or we can say is it a localized cancer or it is a spreading cancer. For that, he needs to undergo MRI, it's called magnetic resonance imaging. With the help of MRI, we try to stage and give him the prognostic values, whether he has to go for a definitive treatment or he has to be under a strict observance, or that is we call it as a surveillance.
Okay. So that examination, would that entail them being, sedated? Would it just allow them to just be obviously at ease to make those things happen? Because I want to make sure that when they go in, they can ask the right questions. What are some of the questions that because I want to be honest with you, good doctor, one thing that I would like to do is to educate enough people to be their own advocates.
The most important, education of the patient.
Right. And so that they can ask the right questions at any given time. And some of the things that I want to make sure is that people can be their own patient advocate, that say, this is what I know, or this is what it is, and ask the right questions. Because sometimes if you don't understand, you can just feel that even much more lost and confused, especially if somebody told you, look, you have cancer. I don't care what kind of cancer it is just still petrifies anyone. That C word is an awful word. And so what would be some of the questions that you would ask over your 25-year experience that you would say to help you facilitate them? What are some of the first questions or questions that they should ask you feel?
Yes. The first question I would be asking whether he has any problem with his pee. That problem may be in any form. Okay, problem may be a simple burning micturition. What's called being simple urination or burning during peeing.
Is there, kind of got to ask you though, when you urinate, would it be burning the whole entire length of your urethra, or would it just be right at the very tip of your
Yes, it can be for whole length of the urethra. There will be a pain if it is a associated other condition like inflammation in the prostate apart from the cancer.
So if it's only if it's burning the whole entire length of the urethra, that's a problem.
Yes.
What if it's only burning at the tip of the gland?
Yes.
The gland is right where it exits, and what if it's only burning there? Is that still an issue?
Yes, that is also an issue. In spite of having known that he has got only a burning sensation at the tip, we just go further and ask him some more questions. Okay. That's called a leading questions.
Right.
Called the leading question to know the other symptoms of prostate. Like, has he got any obstruction during voiding? Has he got any intermittency? Has he got hesitancy? Okay. These are all the signs and symptoms of enlarged prostate.
Okay.
Enlarged prostate. So once you get the enlarged prostate, we try to know how much it is enlarged, how much it's bothering. The whole bothering symptoms are more important than what we ask them.
Now that we got established that one, there is an issue of sensitivity urinating that is burning down the whole entire urethra. Do you feel that as far down into any further part into your body? What about your testes? What about in your scrotum? Is there any issues that may feel within those areas?
Right in the early stages, you may not get these symptoms. But then if it is a late case, if the late stages, when the prostate is stuck to the pelvis, we do have these symptoms, like something like heaviness in the perineum, perineal pain, testicular swelling sometimes. Okay, and sometimes the pain may radiate down to the lower limbs, in fact. Okay?
Really?
Yes.
So into your hips, into your
into the hips, into your gluteal region.
So your butt and your hips will be hurting.
Yes.
And your lower back.
Yes.
Wow. You know, I tell you the truth. I've never heard that ever before. And I've had some doctors come before me before, to be honest with you. That is now, I think that is another telltale sign of just get it checked out. If I'm kind of curious, would it manifest itself just with, for example, one at a time, or could there be a battery of all of them? Could it be your backside is, you know, your gluteus maximus is pretty tight and sore, that your hips are pretty achy around your pelvis area is pretty achy, and your lower back is achy. Would they all come in one sequence, in tandem, or do they come individually at separate times?
Yes. Initially, it will be an individual symptom. But as and when the time passes, when it becomes late, then it can come as a battery of these symptoms.
Wow. I'm glad that you told me that, good doctor. I got to go and take a break right now. But here's something I want to touch on when we come right back after this. You know, what about sexual performance and erectile dysfunction and those issues as well? Because that is something that is on some of the males' mind as well. Does it have to do with testosterone? Does it have to do with your prostate? That kind of questions that I would like to have answered as well, because I think some of those things are what's on men's mind, because as you well know, that is what in most men make them men.
The opinions expressed by Cayman Crosstalk, its hosts, callers, or guests are not those of Hurley's Media or its sponsors.
Now, from the Cayman 27 News Team, here are your latest news headlines, brought to you by the Cayman Pharmacy Group, with West Bay Pharmacy, Savannah Pharmacy, and Professional Pharmacy. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Visit them today. Now, here's your news headlines.
Good day, it's time for Monday's headlines from the Cayman 27 newsroom. I'm Reshma Raghunath. Police are today looking for the driver of a dark sedan whom they say struck a policeman in a hit and run over the weekend. The incident happened on Saturday night during a traffic stop on the Esteli Tibbetts Highway in the vicinity of Yacht Drive. According to the RCIPS, at around 11:30 p.m. on Saturday, officers were conducting a traffic check when the sedan approached the roadblock. The police officer approached the vehicle and attempted to speak with the driver and the passenger. After getting no response, he walked in front of the parked sedan to get the license plate number. The driver then struck the officer before speeding off. And registration begins this morning for the Christmas cohort of the National Community Enhancement Program, or NICE. Registration for the 15-day project starts at 9 a.m. at the Lions Center. Participants will be working under the Public Works Department, the National Roads Authority, and the Department of Environmental Health. The project is open only to unemployed Caymanians and spouses of Caymanians who are 18 years old and over. That's it from the Cayman 27 newsroom for now. Do remember to tune in at 6 p.m. for our full newscast for these and other stories. I'm Reshma Raghunath. Do have a great Monday and a productive week.
Be a part of the conversation on Cayman Crosstalk by calling the Superior Auto Hotline, 233-1019, or message us on the Cayman Crosstalk Facebook page. Now, back to Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for tuning in, letting us be part of your morning and part of your day. If you're just tuning in right now, I have Dr. Prabhu with me of Health City Cayman Islands, and we're touching on the prostate cancer issue in the Cayman Islands, as you all probably well know. right now is Movember, hence the reason why I'm wearing my little Quigley down under look. And I want to bring awareness so that we don't have to lose any males at all in the studios. And Doctor, I just want to thank you very much for a very candid conversation. And even getting into a little bit more, probably some of the most sensitive issues in terms of sexual performance and so forth. What are some of the manifestations that prostate issues will have with sexual performance?
Yeah. The prostatic cancer, initially, it may not have any detrimental effects on the sexual life, but definitely it has in its late stages. When the prostate has sufficiently grown laterally, or it has involved the lateral pelvic wall, or it has gone down to the base where it is involved something like a neurovascular bundle, which is supposed to innervate the penis, or which is responsible for sexual act. If that organ, if that part of the pelvic floor is or encroached by this cancer tissue, definitely he will have erectile dysfunction. So any erectile dysfunction in the presence of a prostatic cancer goes directly as it is an advanced disease.
Wow. So once you experience erectile dysfunction, meaning in layman's terms, you can't get it up.
Yes.
Or, kind of curious, I got to ask you this though. Are there different stages of erectile dysfunction? Is it that it's always flaccid, down, can't get up? Or is it that semi, or because, when you're a teenager, that, and young, it's like a bull.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious.
I can understand.
Poor Kafar. She's
okay.
Where's Shamari?
But I want to make sure our males are protected. These are some of the questions. What are there different stages of erectile dysfunction?
Yes. Indeed, it is a stage-wise, or can say it's the early stage or it can be a late stage. Early stage, definitely he will start losing the libido. He will have something called morning tumescence. Morning tumescence, there is something called morning tumescence. That is, all males experience the erection early in the morning.
Yes.
Okay. So that is supposed to be due to testosterone. When the highest peak of the testosterone in the body is in the early mornings. Okay. So that is why we have, in spite of any sexual arousal, spontaneous erections. That is called morning tumescence. So when the person loses morning tumescence, that is the earliest sign that he is going in for erectile dysfunction. But it is hormonal dependent, not cancer dependent. It's not because of a cancer.
It's not necessarily
not necessarily because of a cancer.
Okay, all right.
So it is only when the total neurovascular bundle is involved, the external genitalia, the penis, becomes almost flaccid. In spite of sexual arousal, he may not get a good erections.
Oh.
Yes.
What about if you are, able to get aroused and get an erection enough for sexual contact and action?
Yes.
Could you, and is there a problem with ejaculation as well if you have an issue with prostate?
Yes, there
or
is no
building up.
Yes, until unless when the vas or epididymis is involved, he doesn't have any issues with ejaculation.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. All right, I'm learning something new every day, and I just got a bunch of, you saw my phone going off, Kafar. One, people are laughing at picking on you, but also there's like, wow, thanks for asking some of the questions that I may have as well. And one of the questions that I'm just reading right now and just kind of skimming it is that, does this issue, the morning issue, does that happen at a certain age, or would you be older? Would you be in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 80s? Well, where would you see that happening?
Yeah. So you observe, during your teenage, they will have a very strong morning erections called tumescence. As an age advances, say somewhere around 50 years, 60 years, this morning tumescence starts coming down. Okay, they start losing this. But definitely they'll not have any morning temperature around 70, 75, or 80 years. That is the point at where the total testosterone level comes down to nadir.
So I got to ask you, is there a correlation then between testosterone within your system and the issues of possible prostate cancer?
Definitely. Very good question. Very good question. Okay. The total carcinoma of prostate or the tumors of the prostate, they are dependent on hormone testosterone. This testosterone, which is produced by our testes, goes and stimulates. It acts as a food for the prostate to grow up. So testosterone is the hormone responsible for enlargement of the prostate. Okay.
So is it unreasonable for me then to ask you and to say that if we then either take supplements that will help boost testosterone or even just go and get some other hormonal treatment to that end, are you saying it can mitigate the risk of developing prostate cancer?
Yes. Very good question. Very good question. Of late, there are a lot of studies going on in the world. Initially, when I was a student, when I was about 15 years or 20 years back, okay, when initial of my career, we were a little skeptic about using a testosterone for a male andropause or something like that, thinking that that will trigger the prostatic cancer. But so many studies which have come up now of late, we are off that fear. We are off that fear. It is not the testosterone which is causing the carcinoma of the prostate or prostatic tumor. It is when he has got a tumor per se, we should not supplement the testosterone. You got it? You got? It is not the hormone which causes the cancer. It only causes the enlargement of the prostate. It is not the responsible for a cancer. So when there is a cancer, we should not give testosterone. We can give or supplement. We call it testosterone supplement therapy. Okay, whenever he has got an andropause or whenever he has levels of the testosterone have come down. So when the testosterone have come down, if you supplement, that may not be the cause for carcinoma of the prostate, which was a myth, which was one thing which was hindering us from giving a testosterone. So of late, we are using a testosterone for erectile dysfunction without much.
Wow. We got a caller online. Good morning, caller. How are you this morning? Good morning, caller. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hi, good morning, caller. How are you? You're on with Dr. Prabhu.
Good morning, guys in the panel.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm checking in something because I read something the other day. I also passed it on to you. Do you know who it is? It says that men who have regular sex at least 21 times for the month, that alleviates his prostate. Basically, that makes him less of having prostate cancer. Is there any truth to this? That's what I'm calling to find out. Thank you.
Using an excuse to try to...
Okay. There is nothing like that. Huh? So number of sexual acts will decrease the chances of carcinoma of the prostate. There's nothing like that. You can have, but definitely shows that your prostate is in a good condition if you have more number of sex.
Well, you know, that's the thing. But what about, so there's a misnomer then that you if you have sex or you masturbate that much, it's not going to mitigate the issues that may occur with prostate cancer.
Yes, exactly.
It's just that you're just a strong male.
Yes.
Your testosterone levels are pretty high.
Good.
It's very good. All right. Good morning, caller. How are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm fine.
Good morning. Thank you very much for your call. You're on with Dr. Prabhu.
Just a quick question, right? You know, male bonding, doing activities with other males, sports, stuff like that normally increases your testosterone. Is that true?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, I just want to know that because that, obviously you can understand why I asked the question, right?
Yeah.
No, that is not the one which increases the testosterone.
Wow. You know, I that's a brilliant question. Thank you, caller. No, that's brilliant. You know, I got to go and take a break right now, but it just more things will pop up from these things. And I'm glad to see our males are calling in. I just want to say to our males out there, thank you very much for engaging. 233-1019, 233-1019. If we can just save one, we can save, to me, is priceless. You know, good doctor, the gentleman, I thought brought up a very good point, because they're saying that what is happening in this world nowadays is that we're becoming effeminate.
Yes.
All right, they're taking away the masculinity from males. You know, we're doing much more. We're getting our fingernails done, and we're going and getting massages, and we're getting soft, and we're cuddling, and we're doing all of the poor Kafar. She's pink over the corner. You know, we're becoming demasculinized on this whole entire thing, and that is drawing down our testosterone. Is that? I mean, I thought, honestly, I really believe what the gentleman said is a sound, reasonable question. Is that a contributing factor?
No.
What is the contributing factor of low testosterone?
So it is basically the aging process.
This aging.
The aging process. So testosterone is supposed to be produced by the testes. So when the age advances, the cells which are producing the testosterone, the number decreases. So that is the reason why we have a low testosterone as we age.
Okay. All right, I got to go and take a little break right now. There's more questions that just popped right back up on my phone. Gentlemen, you can actually call in 233-1019, 233-1019, or the WhatsApp number, which is 324-1019.
More of Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and live on Cayman 27 is next.
Did you know that make the most of your morning at Burger King with Burger King's unbeatable breakfast special? 2 sandwiches for just $4. Take 2 bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches, 2 sausage, egg, and cheese, or mix and match. Add a refreshing OJ or delicious hash browns, plus tea or coffee for a true breakfast of champions. 2 sandwiches for just $4, available until 10:30 weekdays and 11 a.m. on weekends. Only at Burger King. 7 Mile Beach, Waterfront, Walkers Road, Town Center Plaza, and now Red Bay.
Hey, have you heard about the singing Christmas tree?
No, let me imagine.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open.
It's more than that. Look.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it
The
is.
Singing Christmas Tree, November 24th and 25th, 2018, 6 p.m. at Lions Center. It is for free.
Oh, what fun.
And I just want to recap right at the top of every segment. I just want to let you all know what we're talking about. If you're just tuning in right now, I have with me Dr. Prabhu from Health City, Cayman Islands. We're touching on prostate cancer. Obviously, it's Movember, and we're really getting into some candid conversations here and real conversation, real talk about this particular issue and disease and the associated issues that males have as well. One of the questions that we just touched on right before we left, and I thought the gentleman brought in a very good question, is that if we have male bonding and so forth, would we increase it more because we're becoming so, sensitive? Lately, we're taking away all of the testosterone in our lives because we're no longer the hunter-gatherer kind of a thing. We're not machismo any longer. You see, is there any way that we can maintain or even increase testosterone levels as males at any given time?
Good question. There is nothing like increasing the testosterone, but definitely there is something which we can maintain the testosterone. Your levels of testosterone are governed by the endocrine system of our body. So our whole body per se, how it responds to the hormone is very important. Especially when you're in a stressful condition. The whole body system acts, especially when you're sympathetic or where adrenaline or your steroids are pumped into the body. Definitely it has got a deleterious effect on the testosterone. So you have to have a stressless life to maintain the testosterone level.
Jeez, I'm screwed.
Yes. Yes. Though it is a very hard thing to maintain in this present time, but it's very important. The second most important, having a good sleep. Good sleep.
Jeez, another check against me.
Okay.
Lord.
The third one is, again, very bland diet. Good diet. I mean, say fresh diet or so though they are very generalized things,
right?
But they are very important to maintain the testosterone level. But definitely there is nothing like which food will increase the testosterone or anything or a supplement except testosterone supplement. Nothing can increase the level of testosterone in the body.
So you're saying that, for example, in America primarily, there's a lot of programming, and there's some programming that's male-oriented, and because of advertisers and because of manufacturers, they focus on those type of, that target market, and you will see like things come on saying, like, for example, I don't know, I'm just guessing off the top of my head. If it's a product, I didn't mean to call them out, but let's say it's testosterone max.
Yes.
Take this pill and release the natural testosterone in your body. Yes. Is that fair? I mean, could you buy that, and could those things help with your testosterone and to mitigate the risk of developing stuff?
No, that is not true. There is nothing like which can boost your testosterone or which is anything like that. It's just a market driven. There is no scientific basis for that. Till now, FDA has not given clearance to any of those products which can boost your testosterone, except testosterone hormone itself.
And so whom do we get that from? Would we get that from a urologist or the endocrinologist?
Yeah, anybody who takes care of this disease. So it can be a urologist, it can be a general physician, it can be an endocrinologist.
All right. And so how long is that therapy if you started? Do you have to maintain it for the rest of your life, or is it like a jump starter? Like if your car is broken down and you have a manual car, you can kind of push it and get it started again, and the electrical system gets started. Is there anything to that effect or no?
Yeah, it is. It's not that once you are on testosterone, it's a lifelong. It's not like that. See, a repeated examination of your blood testosterone is essential to maintain the normal levels of the testosterone, which is around somewhere 400 to 600 for this population. Okay. So once you supplement, it may be in any form. Supplementation is in any form. It can be injectable, it can be lozenges, it can be nasal spray, it can be a patch, it can be just a ointment, something like that. It is not a continuous process. It can be a periodic. That's all.
I just had a WhatsApp just pop up here, sir, and I got to ask you this one before our segment ends. It says that a lot of things nowadays are made with, they got edamame in here, but I guess it would be soybeans. Yes. Soybeans have obviously a lot of estrogen inside of it. Would that be a contributing factor to the males of lowering their testosterone as well, that there's a lot of consumption of soy.
Yes. I do hear in the market, in the advertisements, that soya is rich in or it has got more estrogen. Estrogen has got definitely a deleterious effect on the sexual life of a male. But then it is not scientifically proved or is not FDA approved. So that is why I don't recommend now at this juncture. I may recommend after a certain period.
All right. Well, good doctor, I just want to sincerely thank you for such a very candid conversation this morning. In fact, we got to have you back because just for transparency's sake, we were just talking with Kafar through the break and so forth. She says, yeah, we're touching on one thing now, but when we talk about male menopause, andropause, that is something that we're going to get into as well.
That's a big chapter by itself.
And I welcome you back, good doctor, to talk about that, because I think a lot of males probably don't realize that we go through that as well. Hot flashes, cold flashes, and miserableness and everything else that goes down the whole entire pipe of what is andropause as well. But I want to sincerely thank you and welcome
Thank you.
to the
Thank
studios,
you.
and I welcome you back at any given time, sir.
I'm honored.
And I tell you the truth, I think Kafar, we need to have that discussion about
Definitely.
male menopause. I think that is something that we need to start discussing with our males and start making sure that our males out there is protected as much as possible and educated, and take away some of that misnomers that are out there so we can actually save some lives. Because frankly, there has to be a correlation, doctor. Because if your Indian people and your Indian population have the same issues that we have, that we wait to the last minute, that's a global issue with males.
Definitely.
And it has to be a correlation between why women are outliving males globally, at least by 3.4 years on average. And in the Cayman Islands, it actually follows suit that same way as well. And so I think those are some of the things that women are much more cognizant of themselves. They don't give a crap what anybody else thinks. I'm going to take care of myself. I don't care about you or what anybody thinks. And I think maybe we need to start developing that so that our males, we don't lose them at too much of a young age, from cardiovascular disease, prostate cancer, all these various different things that we can talk about, and especially, male menopause, andropause. I think that'd be something would be a great subject.
Next time.
All right. Good doctor. Thank you very much for tuning in. Letting us be part of your morning part today.
Thank you. Thank you very
Kafara,
much.
Before we leave, I want you to say, how people can get in contact with a good doctor and also with Health City Cayman Islands for the plethora of different services and specialists that you have there as well.
Definitely. If you'd like to book a consultation with Dr. Prabhu, that's 640-4040, or any of our consultants, 640-4040. Or if you have any questions, if you want to inquire about a special service, just send us an email, info@healthcity.ky. I personally manage that info line. So any questions you have, please send it over to as well.
Excellent. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and if Mr. Scott is watching and listening right now, I think it's not unreasonable for me to say, if you have insurance, it's not going to cost you much more than probably about $40 US. And if you don't have it, it's probably not going to be no more than $160 US to see one of these doctors as an initial consultation as well. And so thank you very much. It's a pleasure seeing you. And coming right up, we're going to have some individuals coming into studios, Mr. Mario Rankin, and we're going to have an update on the people's referendum against the cruise birthing facility and possibly some thoughts on what was revealed in the Legislative Assembly last week.
More of Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and live on Cayman 27 is next.
The flavor with a beat. Black thing now move up him dancing feet. We dance them flavor with a beat. Holy sauce, yeah, we acting on the street. Young middle age or old, move your feet. When bass if we dance, everybody have to do it.
Grace, feel the vibe, can't you feel it? Grace, delicious, so nutritious. Yes, quality when you taste it. Want affordable? Look for the label.
Flavor we are fear because the spice is clearing. Flavor with a beat, no other brand than near we.
One taste and you know Grace is real.
Champion House Restaurant, serving Cayman for over 30 years. Start your day off right with our breakfast, fruits, pastries, hot cereals, entree, and so much more. Stop by for lunch. Our buffet offers salad, soup, entrees, and desserts. Check out our website for details on our new dinner menu. And don't forget about catering. We can customize any menu to suit your needs. Champion House Restaurant, where the islanders dine.
Let Elite Marble and Granite bring the charm of Italy to your home. Made from only the best materials. Santa Margherita Quartz is handcrafted at a state-of-the-art facility located in Italy and then journeys across the ocean to Elite Marble and Granite, who is the exclusive distributor in the Caribbean. Elegant and resistant, Santa Margherita Quartz products offer a large choice of colors, textures, and exclusive finishes. Call 945-9028 or visit us online at elite.ky. Elite Marble and Granite, where perfection costs less.
Watch as some of the world's most talented people put their skills to the test as they attempt to make their mark in the record books. You'll witness some of the craziest, scariest, most bizarre stunts people will do, all in the name of stardom. It's the ultimate Guinness World Records, and it's right here on Cayman 27. Capture all the action.
Time for Monday's headlines from the Cayman 27 newsroom. I'm Reshma Raghunath. Police are today looking for the driver of a dark sedan whom they say struck a policeman in a hit and run over the weekend. The incident happened on Saturday night during a traffic stop on the Esteli Tibbetts Highway in the vicinity of Yacht Drive. According to the RCIPS, at around 11:30 p.m. on Saturday, officers were conducting a traffic check when the sedan approached the roadblock. The police officer approached the vehicle and attempted to speak with the driver and the passenger. After getting no response, he walked in front of the parked sedan to get the license plate number. The driver then struck the officer before speeding off. And registration begins this morning for the Christmas cohort of the National Community Enhancement Program, or NICE. Registration for the 15-day project starts at 9 a.m. at the Lions Center. Participants will be working under the Public Works Department, the National Roads Authority, and the Department of Environmental Health. The project is open only to unemployed Caymanians and spouses of Caymanians who are 18 years old and over. That's it from the Cayman 27 newsroom for now. Do remember to tune in at 6 p.m. for our full newscast for these and other stories. I'm Reshma Raghunath. Do have a great Monday and a productive week.
Be a part of the conversation on Cayman Crosstalk by calling the Superior Auto Hotline, 233-1019. Or message us on the Cayman Crosstalk Facebook page. Now, back to Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much, and happy Monday to all of you. And I'm joined this morning by Mr. Mario Rankin. And I just want to say welcome back to the studios, Mr. Rankin.
Good morning to your listening public, first of all. And thank you again, Woody, for inviting me back on so we can continue the dialogue when it comes to such an important issue like our environment.
Well, the thing with it is, I got to ask you, just right off the bat, the last time that you all were in, you gave an update and said that, you received well in excess of, and the goal is to well in excess of what was required under the referendum. And the reason why that you were seeking that, it was for the mere fact to mitigate against any risk and any issues that people may have put down, false names or false things or, whatever the issue was, right, so that there would be no nitpicking on there. How are we today regarding the referendum? Is it still very much active? Is it still very much engaged? Or has it been waning a bit?
Well, I can totally understand why some people may think that the momentum have slowed a bit. And that's only because, remember, Woody, there is a lot of individuals who are in areas or who wants to participate but not publicly, and they don't go to the public locations that we're set up with our tables and tents. And a lot of those people who are supportive of it, that didn't have an issue with being seen signed in public, all those people already signed. So we've shifted our focus now towards the door to door and doing a bit of phone banking to identify the pockets of people. And we had a few posts on our Facebook page where we do mobile, where you can call us and we come to you. And people rather the privacy of picking up the phone and say, hey, I live XYZ. I have 4 members of my family. Can you come by, talk to us a little bit about it so we can have an opportunity to sign it without having to leave the comfort of their either workplace or their homes or wherever they are at that particular point. So the beauty with it is that all of the unseen stuff is steadily moving forward along with the tables and the tents and the regular locations like Hurley's, Refuel, and a couple other locations around the community where we are every weekend on Saturdays. So the momentum has actually picked up in a sense where we're now actually reaching out to pockets of people who didn't have an opportunity to, one, because not everybody got a Facebook page, not everybody have Instagram, and not everybody listen to the radio. So it's important that when you knock on somebody's door or when you pick up the phone book and you flip through, and as backdated as phone banking may sound, it is extremely effective, contrary to what most people may think. There's a lot of house landlines still available. To my surprise, I mean, I picked up the phone book. I went through one neighborhood, and I just dialed every number, and 9 out of 10, someone picked up. Whether it be someone who works at the house during the day when the owners are out, like their help or whatever, and I've made arrangements to go by and talk, sit, and have a conversation with those individuals, and they were so pleased that they had that opportunity to have that one-on-one, as opposed to being in the fray of things where it's chaos. So, but we are full steam ahead. I can confidently say that that we're very, very close to the numbers. We still have 40 active books. So just so you understand, we have 80 books total. And if all those books are filled, that's 8,000 signatures. We have more than half already filled, and we have 40 existing out now that is very active and that we haven't done a complete tally on. So I'm pretty confident that we'll make the 25%. Like I said last time I was here, is that we wanted to have an additional minimum of 1,500 to 2,000. Reason why I say that, because two things come from that: less mitigation on the fact that, because if we just stop at 5,288, and let's just say one signature is wrong or isn't right, or they could discredit, then we're one signature below the threshold. Do the election office or the Constitution have variation for discretion? I didn't see it in there. So legally, they could say, "Hey, you didn't make the threshold," and there's really nothing we can do about it. So that's why I thought it was prudent for us to ensure that we have, a couple hundred past the mark, so that we can have a little bit of mitigating factor and a little wiggle room. So that's the reason for that.
Well, I'm glad that you said that. I gotta ask you. Last week, two things happened, and one was that through an FOI request, we found that the government has spent $55,000 so far against or educating. The word was, and the delivery and the pre-R was educating the populace on the importance of this cruise berthing facility.
Right.
That's the first question that I'm going to ask you. What are your thoughts regarding that, as one of those that are helping to garner these signatures to see that your right, your human right under Section 70 of the Constitution is fulfilled, because you all believe that it is an issue of national importance. Therefore, you should have much more of a say on it.
Right. Well, what's interesting with it is that, and I'm glad you brought it. I'm glad you brought it up, because I don't want people to because sometimes people try to focus on the messenger as opposed to what the message is, and then that detracts from the cause, the cause itself. So I'm glad you brought it up. The reality is that the government have spent the people's money, contrary to what the Minister of Tourism and the Honorable Deputy Premier said. If you spending money, any money from any part of the appropriation of the physical financial budget, that money is generated by services and different areas that generate funds for this country. And if you spend any of those funds to fight a cause that the people of this country has put in place, with the right of the Constitution supporting them, then you are fighting the people with their own money. That's a fact, in case the minister didn't realize that. Secondly, what is even more disheartening is that we have all this scaremongering amongst our civil servants, but yet we have a civil servant, one of the chief civil servants, doing one of the voiceover ads on one of these radio ads that I hear. And it's very disappointing to me because he made mention of a few things in that radio ad that is 100% wrong when he say that cruise tourism spends over $200 million in our economy. When the statistics in the very office in which he's representing, who's paying for these ads, say something totally different. So, and I'm not here to point fingers at any of those individuals. I'm just simply saying is that even if you're going to spend our money to fight us and you're going to put information out there, put correct, accurate information so that there could be a fair discussion and debate and dialogue as to what the real issues are. Why are you doing this? And when we look at that $55,000, that may not seem like a lot to some people, but tell that to the average person who works 2 jobs and still can't make ends meet in order to pay all of their bills and have food on the table, put gas in their car. You understand? Tell that to that person that $55,000 isn't much relative to the cause. The reality is that, and then we look at all the other things that come out after that. I saw an article about the off-reg and how much money they spent.
A lot of money in 5 months.
Well, I just think that there's a lot of conflicting things in that press release, and I can assure you that FOI, and I found it really funny how they issued a press release in response to an FOI that was submitted. What they should have announced in that is who filed the FOI. That would have made it very interesting, right? Again, I'm not here to, criticize governments and all these other things. I'm here to merely highlight the fact that one, we are talking about building a cruise port in an area that is going to be detrimental to its environment, which is traditionally and historically one of our prettiest harbors that we have in the world, sitting right here in Grand Cayman, and we're willing to cash that in. I saw a video that you sent me on my WhatsApp, and it was ironic because that wasn't even really a nor'wester. That was just some wave action.
It wasn't even a nor'wester,
right?
It was a nor'easter.
It was a nor'easter, and I was pretty shocked by the level of wave action and how far and how high. I looked at some photos that Luigi Moxon put on his page at his place, Cabana. That's the first time I ever seen water almost up to his 3rd step on his top deck. And again, I'm no marine environmentalist, or I'm no expert in the weather and stuff. But clearly, if you drive through Georgetown, you could have clearly seen that that's an issue. And like you said, imagine if we were to dredge out that 26.5 acres, create a basin in there that displaces more water in that area.
Well, I mean, the report says it. I mean, the outline business case scenario.
Yes,
the addendum by PWD says it. It says, there's a section, I believe it's section 6 of their addendum, says it's labeled twice, or it's 2 things. One, wave action and sediment delivery, which is different from beach erosion and so on and so forth of that nature. But wave action, they did cite in there, and then was also cited in the other reports previous to that wave action will be increased right. But PwC is a numbers cruncher. They were saying it's going to cost close to $3 million, they guesstimate, an annual cost based on that. But that didn't consider going south towards Eden Rock area and taking out where the little beautiful rock that people like at Pirates Week, right in Hogside Bay. Yeah. That whole entire area then will have to be dredged. And if you saw the wave action, and roads were closed down last week by the police, simply because of the action on our Facebook page. If you want to see it as well, they were showing some of the video from the deck of the port, and those containers are pretty heavy. Yeah, and you can hear the guy saying there, but also people are articulating that the wave surge was so significant that it actually moved some of those containers. And to me, I mean, those are the things that a lot of people were saying, well, what if, we got to take a little break right now, but maybe when we come back, we can discuss that a little bit more. And also, somebody's asked, what is your purpose behind all of this as well?
I do. Yeah. More of Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and live on Cayman 27 is next.
Like finding money in an old...
The countdown is on for Cayman 27's Parade of Lights, brought to you by Bogle Insurance Brokers Limited. Enjoy this annual boat parade as the water comes to life at Camana Bay Harbor with this year's theme, Christmas Around the World. Don't miss Cayman's largest family gathering as we kick off the 2018 holiday season. Saturday, December 1st, starting at 6 p.m. at Camana Bay. Brought to you by our title sponsor, Bogle Insurance Brokers Limited.
Cayman owned and operated since 1967. Paramount Carpets is a full-service operation, beginning with material selection to the installation of finished products, as well as providing maintenance, service, and takes great pride in the quality of their work, making every effort to exceed customer expectations. Contact us today at 345-949-5000 or visit us at 317 Industrial Park, North Sound Road. Paramount Carpets. We do a whole lot more than just cover your floor.
We believe that every life matters and that we are all connected. One community, one people. We believe in compassion to give dignity to those that society has let down. We strive to conquer fear, and we believe that the power to heal is a gift. This is who we are. This is what we believe. Holy Cross.
Your weather forecast for today, and it's going to be a gorgeous day out there. Just want to sincerely thank Shamal Clark. Shamal is my forecaster for this morning. Thank you, Mr. Clark. And Shamal is telling me that I am going to have a high today of 85 with the real field temperature. They say the heat index may indicate around about 93 degrees, and there's going to be partial sunshine with some showers in places. And the winds are going to be coming at you from the east-northeast at 12 miles per hour with an occasional gust at about 14. That's going to translate to 2 to 4 foot sea height, so it's going to be a little choppy out on the water. Wind is going to continue that direction, but dip down about 10 miles per hour tonight, and that's going to bring the sea level down as well to 1 to 3 feet. But that's going to hit your temperatures about 81 degrees, and they say the heat index may indicate that it's close to probably 89 as well. You're going to have a 25% chance of experiencing some showers, so therefore you're going to have a cloudy evening. And the sunrise this morning was at 6:36. Sunset will be at 5:46. You got 11 hours and 10 minutes of beautiful sunshine to really enjoy. You have a similar weather forecast pattern for tomorrow and probably extend it straight through until Wednesday. We'll keep you all updated through our Met office. Be right back with local, I guess you would say concerned citizen, Mr. Mario Rankin.
Be a part of the conversation on Cayman Crosstalk by calling the Superior Auto Hotline, 233-1019, or message us on the Cayman Crosstalk Facebook page. Now, back to Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for tuning in. Letting us be part of your morning and part of your day. I got Mr. Mario Rankin in the studios with us, and Mario has been one of the faces regarding the petition, the People's Initiated Referendum. Basically not saying that you're against the cruise berthing, but you want some facts out there, some real genuine facts, and you're asking the government to disclose all of those things, and you feel that even recently with advertisements, you articulated just now that not all of them are factual. For example, like the monies that are earned. And also another one that actually, to be honest with you, concerns me was they said we're going to have a 40% drop. And cruise tourism is one thing that really, really bothers me. And I mean, especially in light of that there is no real documented fact. It's the same thing that they said from way back 2006 when Mr. Charles Clifford was there, all the way straight through every administration saying that we're going to cruise tourism is going to suffer. But here's I can't help but play this. To me, this is one thing that just keeps in my craw that I can't get over, to be honest with you, Mr. Rankin.
There are benefits that we see by having the new or large class ships coming to Grand Cayman. We'll still continue to come here, but what we're saying is there aren't any threats. We're just saying we'd like the opportunity, if it makes sense and this all comes together, to be able to bring those larger ships here.
All right. And you heard that there's no threat to the Cayman Islands, especially with over 67%, if you want to look at it, 70%, of their ships that are being built right now are the same class ships that come here, not the mega ships that is proposing. So I don't understand the factor where there would be a 40% decrease in any capacity, especially when the largest cruise line executive simply said that there's no threat to the Cayman Islands. They would just like a place to bring their ships if it works out.
You know, it's really ironic that the spin-off of that meeting and that statement by that gentleman, who is one of the top representatives for that cruise line. What's really disappointing about the spin-off is all of these ads that said something very contrary to what he just said in that recording that I'm so happy you play every now and again. The reality is what it is that when we listen to these radio ads, for those who are aware of all of the facts, it's really annoying to hear that even to the monies that are being spent are not being spent putting out the proper information. And this is exactly the core issue that we've had with the government from the very beginning, where when you ask a certain question, they deflect and don't answer the question, which leaves you to believe that there's something or some hidden agenda. Hence the reason why you've seen such a national outcry for transparency in this matter. So I know before the break, there was someone that sent through social media, which I just want to quickly address.
The question that I had dropped to you was, what is your role and why are you doing this?
Well, what was I getting out of it? I think
what you were getting out of it. Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
what's your role and what are you getting out of it?
Exactly. Well, let me just say very quickly in a nutshell. Number one, from 1999, I've been very public about what my position is on any national issue, not just this one. I've talked about many for a very long time. So I don't get any benefit from this, Woody. You know who gets a benefit from this? My 3 kids have an opportunity to at least have something to fight for when they get at the age that they start to see interest in what's going on in their island. And at least there'll be something left for them to fight for. And that would be because Generation Now saw the importance to make sure that Generation Next have something to fight for. That's what I get out of it. But the reality is that, of course, you know Cayman already. We're a small melting pot of rumors and fiction being more believable than fact. And that just goes right back to what I said at the beginning of the segment when I said that if we could just put aside the messenger and pay attention to the message, and focus on that, because I'm sure that if everybody in Cayman had some dying disease and I was the only person that had the cure, I wonder how many of those people would be willing to die as opposed to come and get it, because I'd be giving it away for free. But the reality is what it is, that this has nothing to do with Mario Rankin. My name is just what was given to me by birth. That is it. If I had some hidden agenda or I had some personal arrangement with somebody to benefit from this, right? That person would have had to been influential in my life from 1999, from before I had my first child, which was why when I had my first child in 2001, I became very focused of the environment that I live in, the surroundings and what happens, because now the fight not just for me anymore, the fight is for somebody else who didn't ask to be here. So I need to ensure that whatever environment that I'm raising that person in, that it's an environment that is sustainable to them and also me to have an opportunity to provide for them. So, to ask me a question, what is in it for me? That's what's in it for me. And I'm not offended by your question. I'm just disappointed in your question, because there's a lot of underlying issues here, what we should be talking about, like How are we going to accommodate 2.3 million cruise passengers when we can't accommodate 1.6? How our infrastructure is going to be able to withstand the overcrowding of our already small and limited beach areas and our Stingray City and all these things? How is that going to affect our overall tourism product? Why are we focusing on the sector of the industry that only generates 20% of the revenues derived from tourism entirely? Why are we not focused on bringing that 20% of the stayover passengers who spend $650 million? Why are we not looking to increase that 20 to even say 50? Let's balance it out. Let's balance the scale. 50 from stayover and 50 from cruise. The problem with that is because when we see the special interest groups and the individuals who are pushing to benefit from certain things, because I can assure you, Woody, all of these radio ads and all these push that the government has been making and all the people who are behind it, they're all arguing on potential, not existing. So if you are sitting here, we already see, because if that is the argument, then we would have to be really, really gullible not to focus on the airport and stay over and that infrastructure. You know why? Because the numbers speak for itself. So if we are so motivated from a government standpoint and a ministry standpoint to increase the bottom line from our tourism product, because we want to generate more revenue, more jobs, and keep more money, then we should be absolutely focused on the airport. Let me ask you this question. Why is it that we're buying 800 MAX planes to fly into an airport that has no more capacity than it had the last 25 years? Why are we doing that, Woody? I don't have a problem with upgrading the planes, I don't have an issue with that, My problem is this, is that we're beautifying and upgrading an airport only to accommodate the same exact amount of planes that we've been accommodating for 20 years. Why is that? We can have a discussion about the facts and the realities of this particular issue, but the bottom line remains is that as much as I would like to have an opinion about numbers, I can't change them because numbers don't lie. As much as I would like to have an opinion about the facts, I can't change them because facts are the facts and we all share the same facts. So when we look and focus on this particular project, there are far too many things that are fundamentally wrong with it than they are that would support that is something that we should be doing. So for me, I'm saying, okay, it may benefit that small circle of individuals for a short period of time, and the rest of the country doesn't really benefit from it because they'll argue about the head tax and the this and the gender and this. Let me tell you something, Woody. If you go right now to any construction site or any supermarket or any place where there's a common worker working from paycheck to paycheck, and you ask them about the tourism industry, they'll laugh at you because they don't have any concern, number one, and number two, they don't have a clue as to what's going on in that sector. So that's why it's important that the government does not and insist that they absolutely do the best job possible in order to maintain, create the balance, and make sure that it's sustainable and that it don't affect our overall tourism product. But here we see a project that is and if they want to use the word potential, that will potentially water down our quality of experience by overcrowding. You and I both know. If you ever been to a major stadium to watch a football game or a baseball game or a basketball game,
Mm-hmm.
you know what happens during the break when everybody need to use the bathroom? You ever saw that?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a comfortable environment? Now, you watching the game is a great environment because you might be doing it with one of your kids. But the minute that you get to a situation that there's some discomfort, you're human. You're going to recognize it. It's going to be an experience that lives with you. And you're going to probably say, well, maybe we should go to a preseason game as opposed to a playoff game. Then you start to have calculated decisions based around that. When I go down to Salmite Beach, 2 ships are in today, right? I deliberately drove through Harbor Drive just to see. And I drove across our mini Falmouth, which is Roy Waller. And I can, and it's so weird because I haven't been able to see all the way down that corridor by driving across, but the traffic was backed up so much that I had an opportunity. I see people out there with kiosks, with coolers and stuff behind that fence.
Mm-hmm.
And then I see other people on the outside with a sign looking in. And it was an eerie feeling because it reminds me of all the videos and all of the things that I watched in other jurisdictions that have similar ports where the cruise line strike deals with certain individuals' land base for pre-booked tours. And the cruise line dictate those prices. And the cruise line ensure that those individuals gets the bulk of the people who are coming offshore, off the ships to come to shore, and there's a clear division between the two groups. So yes, you have tour operators, but you have those who are in support of this pair, and you have those who are not. That night at the 26th of September, you were there. You saw all of those people that were sitting to the back of where I was sitting. They were all tour operators that weren't in support of that pair. Every single last one of them you saw in the back there. Every single one of them signed that petition. Why that is? And these are the people that are in the same exact business as that those who are saying that we need to have it. And this thing about it's a myth that we don't need cruise tourism. Whoever said we didn't need cruise tourism? Where can anyone show me where it was written or email me a link where it was said by anybody on our side that we said we don't need cruise tourism? So the ad that says it's a myth that we don't need cruise tourism, I don't know where they got that from. And again, it's scaremongering. And it's unfortunate. But you know what the myth is? The myth is that Cayman will not survive without high levels and congestion of cruise tourism. That's a myth. So if we're going to have a conversation about something, let's have it based on the facts. Let's have it based on rationale, not emotions. And I think that's what's missing in this whole discussion with it. How many times you've made attempts to have a roundtable debate from both sides? Have you? Tell me could you please tell this audience how many people on our side agreed? Always agreed. We've never shied away from it. So why is it that we are being picked upon by some people, not all, because we have a lot of support, and I tell you, I thank them for that. So why is it that we will be picked upon about we have hidden agendas and why are you doing it? When we simply want to ask the people who are pushing it, we want to sit across the table and say, hey, let's have a reasonable, rational, factual conversation about this. Because I'll bring the statistics from the same office that you can bring yours from. I remember the morning when you had on two individuals in here. And you were reading it off the paper, and he said, well, that's theirs. That's their facts. That's their facts. And I thought that was a pretty ignorant statement, simply because you're stating the facts coming from the departments in which is spearheading this particular project. Who summoned those reports that you were reading off?
But their very government said that. I got them from their government's website that said,
correct,
if you want up-to-date information and real information, get it from it.
And see, that's the type of manifestation that is going on within our society amongst ourselves. Because I don't have nothing against any of those individuals, but yet I have them sending me threats, and it's pretty comical, you know. But again, I don't want this to be, and this movement should not be centered around any one individual. This is a grassroots, people-initiated referendum. This petition was not something that some soul champion put a cape on and flew across the election office and say, hey, this is what we want to do. I'll ask you this question, Woody. If this was not a matter of national importance, tell me why the government haven't put a stop to it since. Think about that. We launched this petition a few months ago. So if we didn't demonstrate that this was a matter of national importance, why haven't the government came out and mitigated that factor?
How would they do that? They can't do that. They
can't.
The Constitution is very clear that the one thing that they cannot do is to continue an act if there has been a people-initiated referendum that had met the threshold and the standards that they're in. So the government really cannot mitigate it, except what the previous government did with the one person, one vote, was to simply say, all right, we're going to take it from you, and we'll create a referendum question. And the question, as you well know, is where the misleading and where the whole entire issue
that's where the trickery comes in.
That's where that's right.
Yeah.
We got to go and take a little break right now. We got callers on the line, 233-1019, 233-1019. We also got posters online as well, simply saying that we need options. One of them was simply saying that, we need to look at viable options. For example, more stayover tourism and allowing those stayover tourism to enjoy casinos and so forth to diversify the offerings within the Cayman Islands. Those are some of the things that we need to start talking and thinking about. Plus, there's also persons on the line, 233-1019.
Now, from the Cayman 27 News Team, here are your latest news headlines, brought to you by the Cayman Pharmacy Group, with West Bay Pharmacy, Savannah Pharmacy, and Professional Pharmacy. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Visit them today. Now, here's your news headlines.
say struck a policeman in a hit-and-run over the weekend. The incident happened on Saturday night during a traffic stop on the Esteli-Tibbetts Highway in the vicinity of Yacht Drive. According to the RCIPS, at around 11:30 p.m. on Saturday, officers were conducting a traffic check when the sedan approached the roadblock. The police officer approached the vehicle and attempted to speak with the driver and the passenger. After getting no response, he walked in front of the parked sedan to get the license plate number. The driver then struck the officer before speeding off. And registration begins this morning for the Christmas cohort of the National Community Enhancement Program, or NICE. Registration for the 15-day project starts at 9 a.m. at the Lions Center. Participants will be working under the Public Works Department, the National Roads Authority, and the Department of Environmental Health. The project is open only to unemployed Caymanians and spouses of Caymanians who are 18 years old and over. That's it from the Cayman 27 newsroom for now. Do remember to tune in at 6 p.m. for our full newscast for these and other stories. I'm Reshma Raghunath. Do have a great Monday and a productive week.
Be a part of the conversation on Cayman Crosstalk by calling the Superior Auto Hotline, 233-1019, or message us on the Cayman Crosstalk Facebook page. Now, back to Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for tuning in, letting us be part of your morning. Let's just see if callers are still on the line. 233-1019, 233-1019. If you're just tuning in right now, I have Mr. Mario Rankin in the studios with me. Hello, caller.
Good morning, Woody.
Good morning, Miss Georgette. Happy Monday morning to you.
And good morning to Mr. Mario.
Good morning, Mom. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm so grateful, my son, that God gave me another day of life. And I trust that you, Woody, and all your family, and you, Mr. Mario, and all your family, that you're all well.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you know that's the Cayman way. We always wanted to know how we all were, each other was doing.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Please, you know, Woody, I rarely talk very long, but I just want to speak about something that's dear to my heart, and then at times it makes me sad, and then also makes me laugh. So many people seem to be so surprised that in that little rough weather we had the other night, that the water came over the wall and washed up between what we always call Dr. Roy and Mary's store.
Mm-hmm.
That was nothing unusual years ago. I wonder what in the world will happen if during the time that whatever you want to call it, that dock or something is being built out there. Suppose nature goes back the way it used to be, and we have a heavy northwester while they're trying to build that. I would like some of the experts to answer this question. What will happen then? I truly want that question answered. And before I leave you now, Woody.
Yes, ma'am.
I hope, since you were born and raised in West Bay, and even though you moved away, I understand now that as a good friend of mine called into your show a few days ago and said, everything that pertains to Cayman that we love and is really Caymanian, we sitting back and letting them take it away. You understand, I'm sure, what's planned for Bacchus Beach, that beautiful, secluded little place. Woody, I hope you will open your mouth and try to see what you can do with God's help to keep that from happening. I love both of you because, Woody, I know all your family, plus we are supposed to be some faraway cousins, but that's beside the point. We're friends. I knew your father and respected him, and I knew your precious mother. And Mario, I know all your family.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I love you and your family too. So, you two young men, I'm an all-night, 1-year-old woman, and I'm still running up my mouth. You all can get up and do something.
That's right.
And stop all these people destroying our little island. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you very much, Miss Georgette. And let's go and see what the other line, if they're still there, 233-1019, 233-1019. Also, we got a WhatsApp number, which is 324-1019. Let's see if that caller's still on there. Hello, caller? All right, it didn't hold on. Mario, when you hear from an individual like Miss Georgette, and I think, you will hear the other question that comes on and say, well, you all like the Cayman Islands that you have now. You all love the services that you're maintaining and that you're enjoying at this moment. You wouldn't have those services. You wouldn't have those goods. You wouldn't have the things on your shelves if, for example, people like Mr. Berkeley Bush and the governments back in the 70s didn't build the cargo dock where it's located or extend it out, because it was always there for a long period of time.
Right.
But he actually developed it to a much more modern facility than what it was initially. We got pictures all over through the archives and so forth. That has always been an area of porting, so to speak. And the argument from the premier is that, well, what do you all want? Do you want progress? You can't have progress, and some people may say you can't have a scrambled egg if you don't crack the egg.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts are, and I just want to say this to Mrs. Georgette, and it's because at the very end of her statement, she inspired me when she said, as old as she is, and she's still running up her mouth. I just want Miss Georgette to know that old age is a privilege, because not all of us can live to see old age. So I just wanted to tell her that I wish that I could live to see 90. When it goes to the port, Woody, if you look at our island, if you look at our island as it is today, there are very limited places where you could put a port for bringing in goods that had access to, one, deep water without having to do any dredging, and two, that had pretty calm weather for majority of the year. We can talk about spots. Yes, you have access to deep water, but it had a reef and it's rough 65%, 70% of the time. We can look at Norwest Point, same situation. We can look at Pedro Bluff, same situation. You look at East End, same situation with the deep water. So all the other deep water accesses were predominantly rough for the majority of the year. So our forefathers and our seamen saw it fit to put it in Georgetown Harbor because, one, access to deep water, and it was pretty calm for the majority of the year. And yes, we had our nor'westers and we had our issues, but they understood that. They understood that they would have to make adjustments for nor'westers and nor'easters and all these things. But the reality is that when we talk about the word progression, it's a very interesting term, because if we're going to have progression to the detriment of our environment and the sustainability of our people, then it's not progression. We may have a nice, beautiful port, but if it's destroying our harbor and the cruise ship doesn't use it, then why did we build it? So the reality is, Woody, is that in a day that the premier or the deputy premier wants to have a debate on why they think the port is good, I am more than willing, and I have a few other people that are willing to join me to have that debate based on facts and historical facts, not just their ideology that we need an additional 600,000 passengers so we can put $17 a head in our coffers.
But where's that? Does that figure come from? Because the night of the 26th,
right?
It was established. I think Mr. Moxham articulated a question I thought was very, very well crafted and a leading question, and kudos to him for that. I mean, not a lot of people can have questions of that nature, but what derived from his question was that there's not necessarily any numbers or guaranteeing. And I further asked the question of, are there any guarantees of a specific number of persons across the threshold? Mm-hmm. But to Mr. Moxham's question was that really, in essence, it's going to be maintaining more than increasing. and especially if there's no guarantees of it. And you heard from the executive there that if it works, now those are some of the main questions that I think a lot of people need to be asking themselves. Because we had a lady here, she told me to use her name. I
remember you saying that.
I was very disturbed by using people's names, because I know how vindictive this island is, especially with this government and governments. I've lived it. I'm living it. Nobody's going to tell me otherwise. I'm living it. My family's living the nastiness of this government. And to mention her name, but I'm not going to do it again. I mentioned it once because she told me it's okay to do it. But she's a vendor at the craft market.
Right.
She had 5 ships in one day, made US $25. And at the end of her statement in her email, which I still have on file, she says, I make more money from stayover tourists than I do from the tourists that come on the cruise ship.
Well, and the reason that is because the people who come here for more than a day or two, they come here with a budget. And when they leave here, they want to be able to have something to represent that they were here. So, yes, they're going to go to the craft market and buy some of the gifts and trinkets. And they're going to be the people who have already set out a budget to do so. The reality is, and I go back to where we started this conversation about where did that figure come from. Remember the deputy premier made mention about 3 different segments, and he ended up at 2.3 million when he gave a scenario verbally. He didn't have anything in writing, but that was his synopsis. I can't remember the entire details of what he said, but he went from 1.6 to 1.9 to 2.3, and that's the goal that they were trying to achieve. The reality is that, one, infrastructure can't manage these people, and we already know that. We're like beating a dead horse. We see the issues that we have with Georgetown Harbor and all the other areas that are clogged up when we have 4 or 5 ships in the harbor, and sometimes we have up to 7 ships. I've seen that on many occasions. What's happening here now, and the issues that you said we're not talking about is how is it that we're gonna get a guarantee? You asked the question. I was listening. I'd left the meeting that night, and I tuned in on my phone, and I kind of wish I'd stayed. But when you asked the question, and they basically tripped up and stumbled back, and if I remember correctly, our government panel was trying to justify 2 or 3 questions down the road, and I was like, wait a minute. Why are they even having a comment on something that they have no control over? You asked the 2 executives of the cruise line a very simple question. Well, if we build this pier, what guarantees are you giving us? And they're like, well, we can't give you any guarantees, because they have no guarantees themselves as to who can. I read a very interesting article a couple nights ago about how the cruise lines center their marketing around their ship being the destination, right? And how they put a lot of emphasis on keeping people on their ship for as long as they can, because they provide just about everything on their ship that you can get on shore when it comes to shops and food and bars and
drinks.
All
It's all inclusive.
It's all inclusive. So I started to dig a little deeper and try to find some of the objectivities on how they market their product. And it's pretty concerning. But the average person is not going to go and read that, because that paragraph doesn't say, we'll bring an additional 200 or 300 or 400,000 people to your shores. But the devil is in the details. The problem is that we don't have enough people that are willing to see the facts for what they are and evaluate them and say, okay, let's make a decision. I've heard you read sections of the PwC report and many other reports that clearly speaks towards concerns that we should be focusing on. But nobody takes that issue. Everybody say, oh, well, that'll fix itself once we get the pair. But how, and this is why transparency is key. And it's very frustrating, because every one of us know a politician personally. And whenever we run into them, periodically, we'll ask them the question, and it becomes frustrating, because now they don't say anything to you anymore, because now they're protected by a procurement law, which came in place in May of this year.
But that's a joke.
And that's a joke. Did you listen to the sitting of the House?
I did.
Did you hear about the changes and the stuff they want to do to the FOI?
Yeah.
Did you hear that, Woody?
Yeah, it's becoming too cumbersome now.
Did it not discuss you on how they're trying to add in things, exemptions that limits you to certain information? So what's the sense of having a Freedom of Information Act if you're going to say, I understand cabinet being exempt. Okay? They, in some degree, because they are doing business.
But what is of national importance? And I think that should be the definition.
And that should be the definition. So these are, and think about this for a second. The same government that put the FOI in place is the same government that tweaking it now. And why that is because they probably had more FOI requests on their government than any other government.
Well, I think the reason is that they put it in because they wanted to make certain if they didn't get back in, the administration of the Speaker of the House, that is now, if he became premier, that they can ask all kind of questions that they want. See, to me, those are the bothersome details and the small details a lot of people don't pay attention to.
Exactly.
And I hope, to be honest with you, I hope to have these disclosures because the things that really bother me, for example, they say we can go east. Now, what has proven that they're already going east? I'm not going to call the gentleman's name, but he's been doing tours for the Cayman Islands for 11 million years.
Yeah.
And he's moved from the 7 Mile Beach quarter where he had several different businesses, sold it. Now there's a big, beautiful condominium where the initial place used to be that he would service tourists. Then he went further north. That has now been taken away to accomplish another hotel that is now going to be catering strictly and primarily to their guests, no longer cruise tourism. So he's now moved to Bordentown.
Yep.
He even went so far as to acquire some big, beautiful buses that can move people very swiftly, very comfortably to the eastern districts. It's not unreasonable to say that he's making it work. But however, why isn't the same thing happening with the Pedro St. James Castle, with Botanic Park? And the thing is, that's always the carrot.
Yeah.
If we do this, they will then pick up steam and we will make them a money-making scheme, or they will actually break even at some particular point.
Right.
But that is a misnomer because it is happening.
Yeah.
And if people are willing to buy those tours, they will do so. Last night I was watching a channel and they had the new MSC big class, I think is Oasis class, a gorgeous ship. I mean, that is one beautiful ship. And they were saying, and this is the newest ship now, 505, I think it was 509 per passenger for a 7-day cruise. All drinks included, including mixed drinks and so forth, top of the line. And in fact, they were giving little headlines down at the bottom. Best live acts, best food, and so forth by editors of Cruise Weekly and all this kind of stuff right at the very bottom of each segment that they were showing. So, a beautiful 1-minute commercial. And one has to ask, and the same thing of what the vendor at Craft Market said, all of the Jamaica Gleaner reports and so forth, what they've done on Falmouth. And then if you then take in consideration what the Minister of Tourism has said recently about of tourism from Bahamas recently said that people aren't spending money that's coming off of these ships. And we need to make sure that they spend money. So to that end, one great thing that Cayman will get from it is the per head tax that will be coming in. But would there be any things that come from it? And then you put that alongside of what PwC said by removing all of the things that happen within the cruise berthing area, i.e. the snorkeling and the diving of offshore, or what they call it, from shore excursions, which means Eden Rock and all the other ones that you don't need a vessel to go out to. You're already going to have overcrowding. We've seen that already in local newspaper where the sandbar is now somewhat being gauged and managed to numbers to that effect. And then what product would you have? There's no longer 7 Mile Beach. Now they're moved to Miss Georgette's Point.
To Barkers.
To Barkers, which I always thought, my gosh, it was gifted to the people of the Cayman Islands, Barkers National Park, but I guess it's relegated to the head of Barkers now. That is really no beach, but just a lot of mangroves. And so all of that area is no longer part of the national park, which is something I think we need to really clarify. And those are the issues that I believe that a lot of people like me, I believe that in progress. I certainly believe in progress. No one's going to ever question me on that. But how do we get there without being a detriment to the next generation?
It has to be sustainable.
And so, you know, we got to, if you want to call 233-1019, 233-1019, I got some comments that came through as well, Mr. Rankin. A gentleman says, has Mario gone out there and worked for a week? He needs to go out there and work for a few weeks. That is one comment that came through our Facebook page.
I love it. I love it.
And second one is, Mario, don't let anyone try and defeat you on what you're trying to do for all of us.
Well,
it is so sad to know that this is becoming a hateful island. And that is from one of the tour operators.
But the comment before that one, I think that the last comment, the person that made that comment, the thing is this, for somebody to assume that I haven't worked for a week is one, very, very ignorant. And Socrates talked about a ignorant democracy, that we'll always have candy shop owners as leaders. The problem is, Woody, is that if we're gonna have a conversation about something, you know, we need to have it based on substance, facts, and what's really happening. You said it many times. How is it that we're gonna have consultants and hired people to tell us exactly what the issues are, and then we totally ignore them? And that's what we've seen here with this particular project, and that's the reason why it has so much controversy surrounding it. The problem really is, Ms. Georgette said it. I mean, now that we realize that we've exhausted area of the natural environment for sending people infrastructurally, we decide now we're going to take set on the things that we've preserved for so many years, like the Barcus Beach. And we're going to go now and we're going to turn that into something. And then years down the road, somebody will end up wanting to build hotels there. And then we'll be marginalized and restricted from going and all the condo owners and all these other things. So we need, and again, I'm not anti-progression or anti-development or any of these things, but it has to be sustainable. It has to be in a way in which we're not destroying our environment. It has to be in a way in which it's a coexistence between the two. Yeah, I know you can't have a scrambled egg without cracking it, but at the end of the day, we need to make sure that what it is we are generating now, because we've seen where many governments has misappropriated funds. We're talking about increasing the bottom line in an industry in which the funds are not being properly spent now as it is, because you know the government is spending an exceptional amount of money fighting a cause by the people, which I think is very concerning. The problem really is that in order for this port to work, in order for this cruise berthing facility to work, they're going to have 2.3, 2.5 cruise tourism coming in order for that to be a good financial model to generate the type of revenues that's going to be needed in order to pay back those private investors. And what's even more concerning is that why are we willing to turn over a port that we already own? You know, for 25 years, simply because we have a framework of fiscal responsibility that creates that hindrance because of this very same government. The very same government who spent hundreds of millions of dollars on schools that still haven't finished them, but yet they want us to buy into the idea that we're gonna give a report to some private entity for 25 years to reap $35 million a year, and then give it back to us, and then none of that comes at any cost. What happens when there's some issue that none of the cruise ships can't make the numbers that they potentially predicted or projected? What happens then? Where do they get that additional revenue from when it falls short? Because it's going to happen, you know. We saw what happened. Ms. Georgette hit the nail on the head. They think that weather is just today. That's been happening from time she was a little girl. It's going to continue to happen until we're all gone. It's going to be happening when your children are doing exactly what we're doing, probably on a different platform. It's going to continue to happen. So if we believe that we're going to go out there and build a pier and that's going to fix all our problems, what happens when that pier, that berthing facility is not generating the revenue for that ROI? Then you know what they're going to set their eyes on? Cargo.
Well, the thing with it is that was disclosed, sir, in the delivery by the Honorable Deputy Premier and the Minister of Tourism during that FOI. And it's actually in the press release as well. Now, one of the comforting things and for the longest period of time, and I guess is how things are articulated, and I don't want to misconstrue anything, and people say that I'm misconstruing something, but I stand to be corrected at any given time. What was always said is that we're not going to have to finance this project in any way whatsoever. That's going to be done somewhere else because the Cayman Islands government really don't have the resources nor the financial wherewithal to do it, or I don't think that maybe even under the FFR, the UK will allow them to probably even undertake such a borrowing capacity.
Right.
So we're not going to do this. We're going to have a design, build, manage scenario.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
But did you hear that what the deputy premier said and read? I will try to find it in the press release. He said, what will end up happening if this petition happens and goes through, you would push the scenario back.
Right.
And we may end up losing all of what has been taking place, like the financing terms and all of these things. And I started thinking, well, now the truth comes out. Then who will be in charge of the financing? What will happen if we do not meet the bare amount of minimum that needs to sustain that mortgage, so to speak?
Mm-hmm.
Whom will be the one responsible for taking up the slack at what particular juncture? Are we going to be like Sri Lanka, where you couldn't make it and the Chinese government came in and took it?
Well, what's interesting about that, remember the minister also stated that if we didn't do it now, that the investors won't be around forever, and they might, and if this petition happens and it triggers a referendum.
But the PPM said that in 2007.
Exactly, and me and you said that a couple of days later. But the reality is, you know how long China Harbor been around? So if time was a deterrent, they would have been gone a long time ago. So we realize and we understand that that's not a deterrent. I remember at the very beginning of this whole campaign against the people-initiated referendum, Austin Harris and the minister was the first round of troops to come out to defend this. And it was Austin Harris made a very, very interesting statement that still haunts me to this day. And it was at his very last of his segment that he had on another radio station. He had said it here too, but he didn't go into any great details like he did on the other station. And
he couldn't have said it here because he would never come here again.
I don't know if it was here. It was on
probably Radio Cayman or with
it was
Ruth
Radio
Anna.
Cayman and Ruth Anna. Sorry, my apologies.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Ruth. I hope I didn't offend anyone in the back.
Yeah.
Pushing all the knobs. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. He said something that really bothers me to this day. And you know what? He's a smart chap too. You know why? Because he have avoided coming on radio to represent this particular cause. He's come out and tried to glorify and paint the government to be the best thing since sliced bread, but we all know that that's not the case. The reality is that he said that he urged all the people in the Cayman Islands, quote unquote, that if they want to maintain the lifestyle they're living now, that they should support this port. And I wanted to call in that day, but it was at the end of the segment. They couldn't take any more calls. It was very strategic in how he asked the question and when he asked the question. So I asked on another time he was on, I said, which people are you referring to that wants to maintain the lifestyle that they have now? Because I could take him into a small pocket, and that's just one of many hundreds, maybe thousands of people living in conditions that I can assure you they don't want to maintain that lifestyle. If we're gonna do anything in this country, Woody, from a capital standpoint, that doesn't benefit every single sector and every single person in this country, we shouldn't be doing it at all, period. Because we're not a country that has export or any mass industries. All we have is a service-based society that creates services and experiences. So in our cruise sector, we try to create a good experience so that they can keep coming back and encourage more people to come. That's our nature.
What did a cruise executive say that his business model is made on of? What is it? Sun, sand, and snorkeling.
That's right. And you know what he also said? He also said that 60% of their entire global revenue comes from the Caribbean.
Yeah, he agreed with me with that one.
Yeah, and that the Caribbean is an essential part of their itinerary.
In the business
and that
model.
there's no threat at all. And you played that ad many times. The reality is that why isn't the people who are passing negative comments about people like me and people who are insisting that, well, we need a pier because we want people to walk off on it. Well, then let me tell you something. If we building a pier just so a person can walk off on a gangway onto a cement pier, then we're doing it for all the wrong reasons. I keep hearing this. Well, I went down to St. Lucia on a cruise and I got off. It was no problem. Okay, that's great. That's awesome. But to argue that a person hates getting off on a tender, when they get off on a tender, go to the ship, then go to a tour bus who carries them to another boat to get on another boat to go on a boat tour, I think that the argument is flawed. If you're saying a person don't like a boat when they got a tour booked to go on a boat, so
you're on an island,
and you're on an island, and you're going to swim with stingrays for the very first time. What's more scary, swimming with stingrays for the very first time? And I tell you, it's scary for me, and I live here, right? the thing is what is that there's so many small different arguments we can have on mitigating factors on all of the things that have been pushed out there. We know that, but we don't need to take on all of those things. Let the emotions set aside. Let's look at the facts. They want to know where I work for a week. I worked immigration. I worked downtown. I worked with the cruise. I cleared cruise ships. I drove back and forth on those tenders with cruise passengers. I would go. They can't leave the ship until I clear the ship. So I would go to the ship. I would sign their paperwork, and I would clear the ship for debarkation. And when I'm coming back, ironically enough, they thought I was the captain because I got a little bit of Indian hair and I had stripes on my shoulder as immigration. They thought I was the captain, and I bought it, and I played the role. And when they would ask me questions about the water and the rocks, and you know what's amazing, would they? And I'll tell you this. I've never encountered one single person that said that they had an issue with tenders. Now, I did encounter people who said that we don't like boats and we don't like small. And I'm like, well, you on a cruise for 5 days and you on a boat, in case you didn't know. But yeah, there were some people who didn't particularly like being on boats, and that's a fact. I will never say that don't happen. But why you said it earlier. You're not a person against progression and these things. Neither am I. But it has to be sustainable. Because if the government came and said, well, we need to put 4 lanes through your front yard because you got a big front yard. The first thing you're going to say, well, guys, I don't really want to stop you from building a road. But what measures are you going to take to ensure that my family going to be safe? Because, I got kids running around this yard. How are we going to work that out? You're going to sit down and work out the logistics as to why that makes sense for you. Right or wrong?
Yeah.
Right? And people have to understand, is that...
I got to take a break, Mario.
All right,
Sorry.
good. Awesome.
My back at the house crew saying, break!
The opinions expressed by Cayman Crosstalk, its hosts, callers, or guests are not those of Hurley's Media or its sponsors.
Like finding money in an old pair of jeans.
We're not just the most reliable energy service in the Caribbean. Whether it's for your entertainment, lighting a path to your future, or making sure that you and your family are secure. We're there for you when it matters most. Your safety and our reliability are our top priority. We are committed to remaining the #1 utility service in the Caribbean. We are CUC.
Hey guys, Black Friday's around the corner and you should shop at Office Supply, especially if you like the VIP cinema. Take a look at this Vizio.
Dolby surround sound, 65-inch, $11.50.
Josh has got all the answers. Take a look at that price. Incredible. Now, got a gamer. Some kid who likes to play Fortnite. They need a new gamer's laptop. Josh, the Acer.
Nitro, $965.
Big mark down there. Creative. Somebody who likes music. Got to have a MacBook.
$999.
Take a look at the selection of laptops. Tons to choose from. Priced as low as
$185.
Plus, they're doing the service in-house. Josh, you got great hours. Tell them where they need to shop.
Office Supply.
Right here in Marquee Plaza.
Hi, I'm Jordan Telford. I'm the master distiller for Tortuga Rum Company. I'm a born Caymanian, and I'm very proud to say that I'm producing an exceptional quality rum that's completely handmade, start to finish, distilled, bottled, and blended right here in Grand Cayman for Tortuga Rum Company.
Hotline 233-1019 or message us on the Cayman Crosstalk Facebook page. Now back to Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for tuning in. Let us be part of your morning and part of your day. And if you're just joining in right now, I have with me Mr. Mario Rankin. And if you want to telephone, you can. 233-1019, 233-1019. And that's the in-studio number. And that's sponsored by our wonderful friends at Superior Auto. Mario, we have a caller online.
Awesome.
Good morning, caller. How are you this morning?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you very much for your call. Happy Monday morning to you.
Yeah, likewise. I believe your guest is Mr. Rankin. Anybody else in there? Or that's it?
No, sir. No, sir. Just Mr. Rankin.
Okay. Good morning to both of you. This is Tim.
Good morning, Tim. Good morning.
Morning.
And Tim, I just want to let you know. That in about 8 minutes, I have to go and take a break. Okay, just want to let you know.
Okay.
My last break.
All right. Well, I keep it really quick because
you.
I'm concerned.
That's why I said what I said.
Hey, quick is sort of time now, Come on. I mean, okay. All right, real quick. Two quick things, and then I'll leave Mr. Rankin. He can answer them.
Yes, sir.
I'm concerned because, we want to get the facts. We want to get beyond hyperbole. And there's a couple of things Mr. Rankin said that I would invite him to review and maybe come back with, a little bit of clarification on what he meant. One thing was he said pretty early on in the show that the cruise berthing would only benefit a handful of people. And according to the latest Braille study, would you've probably seen that it's now available on the FCCA website, the 2018 month alma. There's over 4,000 people when you add up the direct and indirect employment impact of cruise tourism in Cayman. Over 4,000 people employed here. And we saw a little foretaste of what's coming. When you look at the DOT statistics on their website, and you look at cruise arrivals what was happening with cruise arrivals in the first part of 2017, right before Hurricanes Irma and Maria completely changed the picture for those 2 years and even up to now. But before that, by the way, when you add up the numbers, it was more than a 9% year-on-year decline. That's a serious thing. And I haven't heard, Mr. Rankin, everybody's explain that. But take 9% of those 4,000 people is a year, just 1 year worth of decline. I don't know. To me, I don't know what Mr. Rankin mean by handful of people. And the second thing that I'd like to give an opportunity to think about and, come back and talk about is, he said he hadn't heard a single person complain, or that was my understanding of what he said.
That's not what he said.
You and I were, I was listening in, you were hosting the show, and Mr. Rankin, when there was a gentleman that came on the air, there was a tourist that was explaining how, his experience wasn't particularly good. He had a group of 50, I think he said, people coming on a cruise that morning, and he wasn't at all happy with the experience he had. So, and it really is the tendering, it really is the wait to get on the boats and then ride on the boats, but more the hassle of how they had to line up and they had to wait to get on the tender. So, let me give Mr. Rankin an opportunity. I'll hang out because, I know you got other callers interested in this. But if you could please answer those things, what you meant by those things, okay?
Well, caller, before you go, I just want to temper something with the caller, the tourist caller. Two things that happened from that. It was identified that the caller is a family member or close relative thereto to one of the pro cruise berthers. I guess we'd call it. Facility. So one of those things were there. So that has to be set in the context of things. And I think you and I have these wonderful conversations. Contextual wise, things matter. And then secondly, he was actually quite surprised when we told him that because they're going to be dredging more to the south now for the cargo facility, it is not unreasonable to say that Eden Rock will probably be decimated. And he was actually quite surprised at that. So if we put those things in context, I think we will do it. But I'll leave it for Mr. Rankin, and I'm going to take a quick break now so he can answer all your questions, sir.
Okay, thanks. I'll let you go. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
More of Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and live on Cayman 27 is next.
Have you heard? They have new daily meal deals at Popeyes. A different meal with sides every day of the week for the same price of just $3.99. Monday is chicken soup with rice. Tuesday for the chicken bowl. 2 tenders on Wednesday. A loaded chicken wrap on Thursday. It's all about that shrimp on Friday. Chicken nuggets to start the weekend. And the mixed 2-piece to finish.
The new daily meal deals from Popeyes. A different meal every day, served with the world famous best dressed chicken for only $3.99. Only at Popeyes, Louisiana Kitchen on Eastern Avenue.
Lunch lady of the past and lunch lady of the future.
We're dyeing our hair.
Yeah, now move it, George. I need the sun to cook the juices, and your head's making an eclipse.
I smell barbecue and hair. You must be done.
What color are you dyeing your hair?
We're putting red streaks in it.
Mom, can you talk to me before you start painting my kids?
Remember when you were 13 and you shaved your head? Now we're even.
The flavor with a beat. Black thing now move up him dancing feet. We dance them flavor with a beat. Holy sauce, yeah, we acting on the street. Young, middle age, or old, move your feet. When bass, if we dance, everybody have to do it.
Grace, feel the vibe, can't you feel it? Grace, delicious, so nutritious. Yes, quality when it tastes it. Want affordable, look for the label.
Flavor we are fear because the spice is clearing. Flavor with a beat, no other brand of the near way.
One taste and you know Grace is real.
The countdown is on for Cayman 27's Parade of Lights, brought to you by Bogle Insurance Brokers Limited. Enjoy this annual boat parade as the water comes to life at Camana Bay Harbor with this year's theme, Christmas Around the World. Don't miss Cayman's largest family gathering as we kick off the 2018 holiday season. Saturday, December 1st, starting at 6 p.m. at Camana Bay. Brought to you by our title sponsor, Bogle Insurance Brokers Limited.
It is a myth that we do not need the cruise ship industry.
It is a fact that when there are no ships in port, we do not earn a living. We depend on the cruise industry, and if it was to reduce by half, many others just like us would suffer immensely. We want to work and provide for our families.
We need the pier.
Support the piers. Support our tourism.
Are you hungry for some walk and roll? Then bring your taste buds and dig in. Walk and Roll serves authentic Asian cuisine from Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, China, and the Philippines. Customers rave about their dim sum, stir-fried noodles, wok-prepared plates.
Bogle Insurance Brokers Limited are professional, independent insurance brokers established in 1988. We are a wholly Caymanian-owned insurance broker with a wealth of knowledge in the local and international insurance market. Our professional team service clients with a range of insurance products, including motor, home, health, contractors, marine, and business insurance, among others. Contact us at 949-0579 or email us at service@bogleins.com.
Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for tuning in and letting us be part of your morning and part of your day. I'm joined here this morning by Mr. Mario Rankin, and the number in the studios is 233-1019, 233-1019. Mr. Rankin, you heard from Mr. Tim Adam, Managing Director of the Turtle Center. See, Tim, I didn't say farm.
The correct term.
Turtle Center.
It's interesting that Mr. Timu could make such observations, and he actually recommended me to do a little bit more research and come back. But I don't need to do any research. I've done that already. So let me just go and dive right into his first question about the 4,000 jobs he claimed that we have in this industry. First of all, I've done the research, Mr. Timu. Do you know how many out of that 4,000 are actual Caymanians? Well, let me just tell you in case you don't know. If you venture to go and check the work permits on who works in that industry, you would actually be pretty surprised, and you probably would never mention that 4,000 again, because it's over 2,100 foreigners that work in that industry. And I have nothing against any of those people, and this is not about them. This is about who actually benefits, which was to your question. And if you telling me that there's a fair trade across the tour board for all people who provide tours in this country, who are licensed to provide tours in this country, from the cruise passengers specifically, because that's a large block of our head count. So if you telling me that there is a fair trade agreement to disperse all the tours fairly, equally, and that the tour operators control the pricing and not the cruise, then you would have my attention, and I would be pretty shocked, because in all of my research I haven't found that. And the reality is that when you look at the companies, like the one that Mr. Woody alluded to earlier, without calling any names, these are the individuals that has the spend capability to provide luxurious buses and build elaborate locations and bus people out with pre-existing contracts from the cruise lines. These are the individuals who are benefiting the most. They are not the majority. And the 4,000 people and the 9% decline and the Braille report, what the Braille report don't tell you is who those 4,000 people actually is. That's what you need to ask the Braille report to put in there, because it's not in there. I read the Braille report, and I can assure you that if we're going to have a conversation about who benefits from this, we better make sure that it's Caymanians first as opposed to anybody else. And secondly, if we're going to have a conversation about a caller that called in here that was set up to call that didn't know all the details and he claimed he had 50 people, remember, he said he had 50 people. I wasn't down on the port or in that bus or on that boat to verify he had 50 people. He could have said he had 10,000. When I asked him the question, well, do you think 50 people is speaking for the majority of the people who comes off of the cruise? Are you telling me that your 50 people is a representation of everybody that come to our shores by cruise, that get on a tender? He couldn't answer it. The reality is, when we told him, or when Michelle Lockwood highlighted to him that they would be dredging and destroying the Eden Rock area, the gentleman was very concerned. Actually, he was very upset, because he highlighted that was where he learned how to dive back in the 80s, because he'd been coming here for some time. The reality is that if that operator had given that gentleman a full overview as to what was happening, I doubt very much he would have been able to convince that gentleman, even though his family, some family down the road to him by way of marriage, I doubt that gentleman would have agreed to call into this radio station knowing that Mario Rankin was on here equipped with the details. I doubt very much that he would have called into this radio station in that regard. That much I can tell you, Mr. Timmy. Secondly, what you need to understand is that we keep throwing these numbers about, and you keep saying that you read all these reports. You keep asking us about the 9% decline. When is it have ever been in this country where we have saw the decline in anything to do with indigenous, natural, third, fourth generation Caymanians, that we've put in an emphasis on helping them? How many? You know what I want you to do, Mr. Timmy? And it's totally off topic. Go and see how many people lost their homes in the last 6 years in Cayman, and show me one of them that ain't a Caymanian, and why we ain't putting an emphasis on fixing the system and the cost of living to ensure that those people are not being taken advantage of by predatory loans and all the other things that are happening in our society. Why the cost of living hasn't been addressed. Why all of these things have been sitting in the system, deteriorating and destroying families for the last 20 years. But we're going to have a conversation about building a cruise pier in our harbor to potentially destroy it so that we can accommodate 2,000 people who are worked in that sector. That is not an equal trade-off, sir. The 4,000 people that you say is employed in that sector, ask the Brill report to tell you who they are and where they come from. And you know, the next time that you want call into the radio station, that's brilliant. We love it, because you do have a lot of very, very interesting and smart conversations. But I think that you should take the same emphasis that you put in all of this and all of the energy that you use to research and mitigate people like myself or persons like myself. You should put all our work into fixing those gaping wounds that the turtle farm have, because that's what we hired you to do. There's a lot of stuff going on at the turtle farm that we need to fix, and we put you there because I feel that somebody had some level of confidence in you, but yet we still see the ongoing year after year constant bleeding by the wayside of turtle farm, and with no real monumental moves in order to fix it. So I encourage you to call in and take me to task whenever you want, but make sure you understand, is that I do just as much reading as you do, and I also do it in a time when you counting sheep.
All right, and Mr. Rankin, we all thank you very much for that, and I encourage anyone who wants to actually come onto the show to come on anytime. And simply just give me an email, kmancrosstalk@hurleysmedia.ky. Here's some things that came through. It says, one of the main concerns that I have if the dock is built is that there is no conclusive determination yet from any engineer or oceanographer that can really assure the Cayman Islands that the ocean and the sand movement towards and from the 7 Mile Beach into the Georgetown Harbor will actually be an issue. If it turns into an environmental disaster, then we will lose the sand in 7 Mile Beach. Then if we lose that sand in 7 Mile Beach, what jobs will we have, and where will the tourists go? Those are some of the issues. And then a WhatsApp just came through, says, since the government is so eager to work with cruise companies to build a mega port, why don't they talk about the loss of revenue due to the same cruise lines getting in business of the same local vendors? Such companies as, I'm not going to name it, but do a bicycle tour throughout West Bay, are being ran out of business simply for the mere fact that the cruise lines are now having large numbers of their guests go on bicycles and take these tours and so forth as well. If they do have no one better, let's just to rest by their own. I guess I don't know. Need to read that one better. But I got to go to a little break right now, our last break. I want to sincerely thank Mr. Rankin for coming in and for all of you for participating. Tomorrow, we're going to have the leader of the opposition in the studios with us, Mr. Ezra Miller, and we're probably going to be touching on some things that the government actually made happen from one of his private members' motion, and that is to the reduction of, or increase, of duties allowable when you come through the airport upon your arrival again. That and many other things as well. I just want to sincerely thank all of you. And it will be remiss of me not to do my normal closing. If you have a pet, please, I beg you, consider spaying or neutering that pet today to keep the unwanted pet population low in the Cayman Islands. In addition, life is short, sweet, and beautiful. If you go celebrate, but please do so responsibly. Don't drink and drive, and don't allow anyone that you care for to do so. Until tomorrow, I'm your host, Woody DeCosta. Godspeed, Cayman.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. We're kicking off 101 minutes of commercial-free country music.
If it matters to you, it matters to us. We're Cayman 27, Cayman Informed.